Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cadet Student Network broadcast of CBC football. We are live at DeSmet High School for the Class 6 District 1 semifinal game between the CBC Cadets and the DeSmet Spartans. And we got online just in time for the national anthem. Once again, we're live here at DeSmet High School. We're in the Tim Kylo broadcast booth. It's on the road here for the Class 6 District 1 semifinal game between the CBC Cadets and the DeSmet Spartans. My name is Randy Bowman. Coach Chris Maris is alongside. And, Coach, we didn't get to broadcast this game the first time they played in the regular season, but we did do an extensive pregame show, which I think should win some awards.
Well, it was a lot of fun, even if my prediction was brazenly wrong.
All of our predictions were wrong on that one. So it was on ESPNU. It was a huge game. First time in the last 10 times DeSmet has beaten CBC. But clearly this year the roles are slightly reversed. CBC still a good football team, 8-2, having a really good season. But DeSmet has taken it to another level, 10-0, averaging 48 points a game and only giving up 8 points a game this year.
They've been pretty amazing over the course of their schedule. They've pretty much taken control of all comers. The lone exception is the 32-31 or 33 1 point win over Chaminade here earlier this season. That was a couple of weeks after they played us, and since then they haven't really been challenged.
So in that Chaminade game, I was looking at that game, Coach, is doing some of my prep. And I was wondering, is there a blueprint here? And then I thought, maybe not, because Brady Cook, the quarterback for Chaminade, had 460 total yards by himself. 342 throwing, 127 running. But that running ability did take advantage and did keep Chaminade in that game all the way through late in the fourth quarter. And CBC's got quarterbacks that can run the football.
Well, they do. It's a question of whether or not CBC can follow a similar blueprint. I know there was some talk about what they did. It was the Brady Cook show against DeSmet in that first game when they played Chaminade. And, Chaminade's been a pretty solid team. I would say, they got 3 losses on the year. They lost to us. They lost to DeSmet, and they lost to number 1 Class 2 team, Luther North, who many think could rival the best in Class 5 and Class 6 as it is.
DeSmet boasts a 3-headed monster in the backfield, Coach, which is really hard to defend, especially with their big offensive line. But when you have Derez Snyder and you have Rico Barfield and you have Taj Butts, all 3 flirting with 1,000 yards this year, that's tough to stop. But it's the offensive line that's really paved the way for them.
Well, they're extremely talented trio, and you can't take anything away from them. However, it is their offensive line that ultimately has a lot to do with how this offense goes. They're very big and very physical up front. We saw that in the first game. That was a huge part of the success of their team, both offensively and defensively. And really, that's where they beat CBC at. It wasn't so much at the skill positions as it was in the trenches. And I think most football coaches across America will tell you, if you give me the best guys up front on both sides of the ball, I can find a guy to make do with in order to make things happen behind that. Now, there's more to it than that, but that's really where it starts.
So not to keep belaboring the first game and revisiting it, we're going to move on from that and focus on this game. But if CBC is going to have success tonight, Coach, they gave up 4 touchdowns of 25 yards or longer in that first game. They gave up 342 on the ground. DeSmet ran the ball 41 times. And if you remember that first game, DeSmet won on first and second down in that game.
Well,
if CBC can win early in the downs, if they can make it second and long, third and long, they've got a shot, I think, to win this game.
Well, I'd say that is a huge component of it. I think the other component of that is mistakes. CBC opened up their first drive in that game, had a punt snap go over the punter's head, gave DeSmet the ball on the 1-yard line. You gave him an easy score. The game kind of was, DeSmet, even though you could feel that they had the momentum most of the game, CBC fought back. That game was 21-14 late in the third quarter, early in the fourth quarter. CBC had an opportunity to punch it in twice to tie that game up, came away with nothing because of penalties, miscues, and otherwise. And then they pin them deep. They're on the 1-yard line, and DeSmet methodically, with that running game, mixing in a little bit of pass, just pounded their way down the field to go up 28-14. And then CBC gets the ball back, almost immediately throws an interception. They punch another one in to go up 35-14. And then the game, and then the wheels fell off to make it 42-14. When CBC came back and got the ball again, they ended up going 4 and out. They might have gotten a first down there, but they ultimately did not, get anything moving. Gave DeSmet the ball again with a short field. They punched in one late in the fourth quarter. But those things all take their toll. And, if you can minimize those mistakes, the one thing this particular CBC team's really struggled with is penalties. They've really, last game, we saw that last week against SLU. They'd have things moving, things would be going, and all of a sudden there'd be a huge penalty. And they aren't disciplined enough yet because they're so young and not as deep as they've been in years past to overcome those big penalties. In years past they've been able to have those penalties. And, you had Brett Gabbert running around out there. You had Cam Babb. You had Cam Brown. Brian Bradford. You had these big-time Division I guys that were able to bail you out. Same thing with DeSmet on the other side. When we had them pinned deep several times on third and longs, they were able to go to experienced guys that were able to make things happen. Now, CBC doesn't have the excuse of the lack of experience. These guys have all been through. Now you're 10 games in. All your young guys have gotten 10 games of play. They've already seen this team. They know what to expect. They've already had a tough road trip up to Rockhurst. They've kind of been there, done that. Now it's time to see whether or not the improvement that we thought we would see is going to happen. I won't necessarily predict a win, but are they going to be able to trade blows with DeSmet a little more effectively throughout the course of this game and give themselves a chance to win it late?
One of the players that I think hopefully and probably needs to be more involved in this game as opposed to the last one is Chevalier Brinson. Only 2 catches in the first game for 8 yards. But CBC was in situations where they're playing catch-up with the penalties, just like you had said. And so Chevalier Brinson, I think, has to be a presence on the outside. And if Jordan Clay is healthy, Jordan Clay could be a factor as well in the running game because the running game can be successful against this DeSmet defense.
You're absolutely correct. They've got to be. Really, CBC's probably. And I didn't talk to the coaches much this week. Normally, I talk to them a lot about their game plan. I kind of stayed out of the way because I knew it was going to be a lot more intense in terms of their preparation than it has been at other times because they know that their margin for error is a lot less than DeSmet's, and so they've got to do some things in order to get things worked out for themselves. And so I didn't really get an idea what they want to do, but I got to believe one of the things that they're going to want to do is try to control the line of scrimmage, which is going to be really, really difficult, and run the ball, eat clock, keep the ball out of DeSmet's hands. Take what they give you, not try to do too much. Don't try to be a hero, do your job. I think that's really got to be the mantra for them. Do your job. Don't worry about somebody else's job. Do your job. Let the coaches worry about everybody else's.
An interesting statistic uncovered in my pregame prep was that DeSmet, 67% of their offensive plays from scrimmage have been running the ball. So they have not thrown the ball. They don't throw the ball all around the field. They will connect on some big plays. They do have some good receivers. But their running game is their backbone, and we'll see if CBC can stop it. We're going to have to wait to see that, though, because CBC will get the ball first. Bauer kicks it out of the end zone. And here we go. CBC DeSmet, the Class 6 District 1 semifinal, as the kicker is Luke Bauer, I believe, as I go up and down this roster.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
Luke
we're
Bauer,
starting very
81.
similarly the way we did last time. They kicked it deep last time, and we're right back where we were. We had the ball first last game also.
So the thing to keep an eye on, once again, mistakes and penalties. If the CBC Cadets can limit that, they should be in this game throughout. There's a 2-yard gain over the left side.
So I think you're going to see a lot more of Ray Lingard this week than you have in several other weeks, largely because he had such a good game last week, and I think they're going to rely on their seniors a lot this week.
Aiden Robinson-Wayne, 2nd and 7. They say he got 3 on that one. Robinson-Wayne out of the shotgun, 2 wide receivers near side. Takes the shotgun snap, fires over the middle. It's caught. Zach Hahn, far side. And he picks up a few. It'll be 3rd and about 3.
We got a flag right out of the box. You got illegal procedure.
Start.
So this is the kind of stuff that CBC can't do. And one of the things you're going to see a little bit different for CBC is they normally signal everything in from the sideline, and they're going to be mixing it up between that and wristbands. They felt like, one of the things I did get is they felt like DeSmet had picked up on some of their signals, the way they sniffed out a few of the plays that they were running.
So 2nd down, and here's Robinson-Wayne. He's got room, bounces off a tackler, dives forward, and it'll be back to where it was spotted before the penalties. So a 5-yard pickup. It'll be 3rd and 7.
But those little bits of yardage are going to be key
yes.
In that situation to make this, a manageable 3rd down.
Key matchup here for the Cadets. We talked about Chevalier Brenson. He'll be covered most of the night by Jacalen Johnson. The 6-foot corner will be matched up against Brenson pretty much all night. 3rd and 6, they say. Robinson-Wayne out of the gun. A big early 3rd down for the Cadets. He steps up. No one open. He's going to scramble. Takes it up the middle. He's got room, but he can't escape.
He's going to be, it looks like he's going to be just short.
4th and 1. Yep.
Looks like he's going to be just short, so it looks like CBC is going to come out and punt. There were some positive signs there for CBC in that particular drive. Really what it boils down to is the false start penalty. As they were trying to get set after looking at the wristbands, Aiden's going to need to slow down his cadence a little bit, make sure everybody's got the play in his set before he gets going. I think he might have gotten a little antsy there.
Tyler Charlton will do the punting, stands at his own 14. And this is how the last game started, but this time a good snap and a punt. Good long spiral punt by Charlton will bounce inside the 30, away from Derez Snyder, a very dangerous return man. In the game against Chaminade, DeSmet had 348 total yards, but Snyder had 153 kick returon yards in that game.
He did.
He's a very dangerous returner, so a great punt there by Tyler Charlton. If you're going to look back at the last game, we're already ahead of the game in the way CBC started in terms of no mistakes in the punting game, not giving them the ball inside the 10. So here comes DeSmet now. The CBC defense will be put to the test here this evening. 10:04 to go. First quarter, no score. DeSmet's first drive. Handoff left side. He's got room. Across the 35, close to the 40, and a pickup of 9. And this is what happened. This is what DeSmet does to everybody on first down. They just run it, and they get a huge chunks of yards.
Well, one of the things you're going to see on that play is Mike West got reached. He stepped down inside, and we didn't have any leverage coming back at him. He finishes that one off. It's going to be a first down, but much better play there for CBC in the running game.
Rico Barfield he gets the start at tailback. The quarterback is Michael Wheeler, the senior, 6'2", quarterback for DeSmet. Had a pretty good season as he shared time with A.J. Frazier, completing 66% of his passes. Barfield has a big hole, and he drives for about 6. And again, another big first down carry for Rico Barfield.
I don't think you're going to see DeSmet get too clever or too creative here in what they want to do. Despite Johnson, the big receiver, his numbers, even though he's an incredible talent, his numbers don't jump off the paper at you when it comes right down to it. But he is definitely something you got to account for because he is a big play threat.
2nd down and 4. Wheeler out of the gun. It's got Barfield to his left. Here's Barfield. Counters up the middle. He's going to get a first. Across midfield into CBC territory down at the 47-yard line. And DeSmet methodically here in this first drive. And now they'll sub out, and here comes Ja'Kalen Johnson into the backfield.
It's an interesting move there with Derez Snyder and
Taj Butts.
Taj Butts. There was some scuttlebutt running around.
Oh, no, it's Taj Butts,
okay.
number 8. His jersey was sort of smooshed in the front. So Taj Butts now enters the game. He's the leading rusher for DeSmet. Over the right side, a big first down gain. Once again, that's 8 yards, maybe 9, inside the 40 to the 39. That big offensive line going to work early for DeSmet.
Doing a good job there. CBC looking to sub out here. Looks like young Tyler Gant coming into the game.
So a second and a long one here. 2 wide receivers in the game, tight end tight on the right side for Wheeler. Wheeler's got Butts in the backfield, 2nd and a long one, and a penalty flag.
False start.
Let's see what this is, a false start.
The side judge down here seems to be calling this pretty tight. I didn't see it against CBC, and I didn't see it there against DeSmet either, so he's seeing something from these outside receivers in terms of either how they're lining up or their movement as the ball is getting ready to get snapped.
So now it's 2nd and 7 for the Spartans. Wheeler out of the gun. He's got Taj Butts in the backfield. He's going to keep it and roll. Here comes the blitz, and it's almost intercepted.
Oh, CJ. What a great play right there for CBC. Got a little bit of pressure. CBC was not fooled on that bootleg pass right there. He tried to side sling it there, did not see C.J. Liddell coming across, and he almost picked it off. That would have been a great play. As it is, it was a great play, but it would have been a huge turnover for CBC right there.
Big pressure from that CBC D, and once again, that was the first time that they ran a 2nd and long play. The Cadets were up to the task, 3rd and 7. Wheeler out of the gun, takes the snap, hands it to Barfield. He picks his way over to the left side.
Nothing.
He's tackled. It'll be 4th down.
Gain maybe a yard. We'll see what they decide to do. It looks like the DeSmet's going to go for it. Nope.
Johnny Honig with the tackle, number 89.
And that's a young man who's been factoring into what CBC's doing a lot more than as the season's gone on. Due to injuries, he's gotten an opportunity. Big body, athletic, talented basketball player who's kind of moved on from basketball to focus on football.
Johnny Honig with a great tackle. It's 4th and 6. Bauer they're going to fake it. They dump it off.
He dropped
it. Luke Bauer dumped it off to number 44. That was Thomas Farrar. He dropped it, and CBC takes over.
I'm not sure. I think CBC had somebody right on him there. I don't know that they would have gotten the first down anyway, but to have it in your hands and fall right out, that's a huge break there for CBC, and so the defense holds, and, so far so good to start the game. Now this offense needs to try to capitalize.
Good field position for the Cadets. 1st and 10 at the 44. Aiden Robinson-Wayne hands it to Lingard, and he's met up the middle, and he drives his legs trying to pick up extra yards. Doesn't get much, maybe 2.
He's got about 2, and it's going to be tough going in there. Even though CBC's got Eric Zamuda back, they've lost Grant Carter. They've lost Brady Feeney for the year. They're working with a makeshift line.
And you're talking about Brady Feeney, who's going to be playing D1 football.
I know.
Right, in the Big Ten. 2nd and 8, Robinson-Wayne keeps it. He picks his way, he's got room. Slides inside the 45, 40, 30, 25, 20, inside the 15, tackled at the 11.
What a great run by Aiden Robinson-Wayne. That's their quarterback run that we did not see him get out on at all against DeSmet.
He had, it includes sacks, but he had negative 18 yards rushing in that first game. That's the best run he's had against DeSmet this year. A beautiful run, sliding in between the tackle and the guard, breaking it loose all the way down to the 11-yard line. And this is what we talked about. Can the quarterbacks make DeSmet pay in the running game? End zone. Oh, we're going to get a flag.
Penalty flag.
Pass interference in the end zone. Pass intended for Zach Hahn, and we got an extra flag after the play. And
let's hope that's not on us.
Yes. Another flag thrown after the play. So we'll see what these penalties are for.
Pass interference. He's signaling from way over there.
And now we'll see what if there's a penalty after the play. If this penalty oh, that's it. They just threw the one flag.
All right, so it's half the distance to the goal. Repeat first down.
Yep. First and goal at the just.
No, I'm sorry. They can get a first down on this.
Oh, I see. Fires. He's got a man wide open. Touchdown on the slant. Chevalier Brinson. CBC takes the lead.
There was nobody around Brinson on that play. I don't know what DeSmet was looking at, what they were thinking, but CBC's already outplayed where they were in the first game. Never saw a lead in the first game. Great start there after the first drive. They had the penalty that kind of hampered them a little bit. Great run by Robinson Wayne, and bam.
Loomis will attempt the extra point. 6:05 to go first quarter. It is a cold night in DeSmet. CBC has started this game hot. Extra point is up, and they look at each other. It takes a while, but they say it's good. And the Cadets lead 7-0 with 6:05 to play. And, Coach, what does that do for your first of all, what does that do for the sideline? What does it do for the confidence of this offense?
It gives you some hope. Anybody over there who, you had to ask some questions. You believe in yourself, but you had questions. There had to be a little bit of doubt, but you've worked hard. You believe in yourself. You believe in the process. And you come out here and you pop one in and you take a lead. And, DeSmet's not been behind very often. I think they've given up a couple of early touchdowns and been behind on a couple of games. But, I still think, looking at their schedule, despite the close game to Chaminade, we're the best team they've played all year. Still, even after the first win. And so, we've been able to see them once, and now we're getting a chance to do it all over again.
So Loomis will do the kicking. Back deep, Derez Snyder. And again, we mentioned him earlier. Very, very dangerous returner. He's deep, standing at his 4, as well as number 19, Alan Mitchell, the 5'10 sophomore. Loomis will do the punting. It's a little pooch kick. They're not going to let Snyder beat him. Ball bounces, and Snyder picks it up, but CBC hits it down inside the 20. The Cadets are fired up right now here at DeSmet High School. 6:03 to go, first quarter, 7-0 CBC.
That's a great play right there by Eric Loomis, be able to put it up. They've got to be able to play those return guys deep because they know Loomis is capable of putting it in the end zone, but they didn't have anybody in that intermediate spot right back in there. The way they were staggered, he was able to drop it right in on them. The ball backspun or spun enough to not kick out of bounds. CBC got down the field and was able to pin DeSmet deep.
That's a beautiful shot, like your approach on the green.
There you go.
Right? All right, Wheeler back in the game now at quarterback for DeSmet. Hands it off. Near side, CBC runs him out of bounds. Good defensive play there. That's Calvin Carey.
Calvin Carey and Mike West help set the edge there a little bit.
Derez Snyder got that carry. So that's the third head of that running back machine for DeSmet.
There was a little bit of scuttlebutt that a couple of those guys were a little banged up, and maybe they are, and they're still available to play, but we'll see whether that factors into this game.
2nd and 7 for the Spartans at their own 22. Wheeler to Snyder. Up the middle, he picks his way. He's tackled close to a first down, about a yard and a half, 2 yards short.
Maybe about 2 yards, yeah. Yard and a half, I think you're probably right about there.
So 3rd and short here for the Spartans. Wheeler out of the gun quickly. Gets it to Snyder again, looking left side, and
ball popped out right to CBC. Right to
CBC football. CBC football at the 25-yard line.
C.J. Liddell. He got his in the end. He was laying on the ground. The ball popped out and landed right in his lap. What a great set of circumstances right there. DeSmet had the first down. One last pop there, popped out, landed right in C.J.'s lap.
1st and 10 Cadets at the DeSmet 25. They will operate from the right hash. Tyler Dixon in the game at wide receiver, split wide right. Zach Hahn in the slot to the left. Kenneth Hamilton split wide left. Now Chevalier Brinson also checks in. He's got no one covering him out there. But he's going to block for Hamilton, who picks up about 5.
Yeah, he caught that a little bit back on his hip. I think if Aiden gets that ball a little bit upfield for Kenneth Hamilton, I think Kenneth is going to get major yards, easily a first down. He might have been dancing his way towards the end zone.
They mark it as a 4-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 6 at the 21. 3 wide receivers near side to Robinson Wayne's right. Claps twice looking for the snap. Now he tries to draw DeSmet off sides. He'll go back and look at the sidelines for the change of play. Calls out the line cadence. Here we go. He'll keep it himself. Looking left side, doesn't get much.
Nothing there.
Nope. Bottled up well by that DeSmet defense.
Did he get anything on that?
Looked like he got nothing. 3rd and 6.
Okay. They barely moved the box. They nudged it a little bit. So it wasn't a loss.
Makai Wingo, who has 10 sacks this year.
He's
second leading tackler. He made the stop there for the Spartans.
He's a heck of a ball player.
3rd and 6 for CBC. 4:20 to go first quarter. Already ahead 7-0. Robinson Wayne looking to the end zone. Touchdown!
Nice.
Kenneth Hamilton on the out. Beat his man to the pylon. It's 13-0 CBC.
And the DeSmet faithful and sideline is in utter shock right now. Now, they did have to fight their way in that game against Chaminade, so they've been in that tough situation.
The CBC fans here at DeSmet are chanting CBC. Extra point up and good. Boy, these officials take a while to mark it.
They're taking their sweet time.
14-0 CBC with 4:15 to go first quarter. Holy moly, the Cadets have started off hot, Coach Maris.
Well, they have. And, after the first series, I saw some good signs in that very first series. That false start kind of hampered whether or not we were going to see more of it. And then DeSmet was pounding. And we're gonna see more of that. They're going to pound. But it's a question of whether the DeSmet coaching staff will get impatient. Now, they've got skill, so that impatience could lead to big scores quick, especially with Johnson on the outside. But CBC's pass rush has already gotten upfield on them a couple of times, so we'll see whether they want to try and do that or not.
And I feel like if DeSmet has to go to the passing game, that's an advantage to me for CBC. It sounds crazy because I know DeSmet has some very good skill position wide receivers, but our corners with Cam Powell and Blair Schonhorst, those guys I think can match up well.
Well, I think between that and what you can do bracketing a safety and an outside linebacker, you can definitely make it difficult on them.
Here's another pooch punt or kick, and it'll be fair catch at the 29.
You can't
run it.
Dude.
Don't run it.
Well, no, do run it. I'll take. You can take a 15-yard delay a game or 10-yard delay a game penalty. I'll be happy with that.
T.J. Woodley with the fair catch inside the 30, and that's where DeSmet will start. And again, smart move by the CBC coaching staff, not kicking it to Derez Snyder. So we talked about CBC not making mistakes, but we forgot to mention, it doesn't matter who you are. You cannot make mistakes. You can't turn the ball over. You can't have a ton of penalties. And DeSmet's already turned the ball over, and when they had to punt, it was because of a false start penalty that pushed them back when it was 2nd and short. So Michael Wheeler now out of the gun. He's going to hand it off up the middle, across the 35 to the 36.
And nice gain there, about 7.
Yes.
Looks like 6 or 7 on that on first down.
That's Taj Butts.
But if CBC can maintain their quick strike ability and force them to have to methodically drive, CBC's in the driver's seat. They just got to minimize the damage and make them eat clock, make them work hard to get it, and just hold form from this point forward.
2nd and 3 at the 37. Wheeler out of the gun, takes the snap. Hands it to Butts, coming near side, cuts it upfield. CBC, great pursuit, but he'll get the first down.
Honig was right in the backfield there. I think once he's through the line of scrimmage, as a young guy who's still learning the position, if he learns to come a little flatter as he comes through and find the ball, he tackles him for a loss.
So 1st and 10 at the 40. Gain of 5 on that play. 3:21 to go first quarter. CBC 14, DeSmet nothing. Hand off to Butts, up the middle, and he runs over a linebacker for a gain of 7.
Well, one of the adjustments you're seeing with CBC, because Lingard's having to play so much in the backfield right now for CBC, is you've got Tyler Dixon playing in the middle, and they've brought in TJ Summers to play in the outside spot where Dixon usually is. I'll spit it out eventually.
It's cold. Our faces are freezing up. 2nd and 3 at the 47 for DeSmet. Shotgun snap, handoff to Butts, and again he runs over Dixon. Boy, Dixon's now taken 2 shots from Taj Butts, but give Dixon credit. He's getting his nose in there.
Yeah, and we're going to see whether or not they're going to keep going with Tyler there, or whether they'll give Ray enough of a blow in order to be able to get back out there. Unless something happened to Ray and he got dinged up. It's hard to see across the sideline there. But I am wearing my glasses today.
1st down and 10 at the 45 of CBC for DeSmet. Wheeler again hands to Butts, looking left side, and a big hit there.
Jordan Marshall. Jordan Marshall with a big pop right there. Minimal gain. CBC got a little bit of penetration. Running back, I don't remember which one. Was that Butts tried to bounce to the outside, and Jordan Marshall came up and laid the boom.
And now that brings Rico Barfield into the game. 2nd and 7, gain of 3 there. Wheeler out of the gun, 3 wide receivers split far side. Takes a shotgun snap, fires near side. It's caught. Hit immediately, but breaking a couple of tackles is Jordan Johnson. He picks up a couple. He may not have gotten much at all there.
He did not, and he almost got caught for a loss. On their screenplay, very different from what CBC does on that. They brought the tackle screaming outside to try to get to that corner. He wasn't quick enough to get there, and he was able to get enough hands on him and then allow Mike West and Jordan Marshall to finish it up.
3rd down and 7 at the 42. Another big 3rd down for this CBC defense. Wheeler takes the shotgun snap, sets up, pump fake. He's going deep to Johnson down the sideline, out of bounds, covered by Cam Powell, and Powell with great coverage. Looked like a little hand fighting, but nothing significant.
But I think they both were,
yes.
And I think that's one of the things that was so frustrating about last week is it looked like both guys were hand fighting, and the defense was primarily getting called for the penalties. In this case, it looks like the officials are letting these guys play a little bit. We'll see whether or not that allows the game to get chippy, but right now it's a pretty physical game out there.
So another punt for DeSmet. Both times they've punted, they started at 2nd and 7. There's a booming punt deep, and that's going to get into the end zone, I think. Takes a bounce. Oh, my. What a bounce by the DeSmet punter.
But it kicked back. It was actually deeper. It kicked back and gave CBC a little bit of breathing room. When that hit, I was really concerned it was going to die on about the 2-yard line, and it ended up kicking back this way and ended up right about the 10.
So, Coach, there's been a DeSmet turnover, 2 punts by the Spartans. Well, one they tried to fake, but it didn't work. But CBC's now forced them to punt, and on both of those particular drives, it was 2nd down and 7. CBC's defense was in a spot where they could put pressure, on the quarterback. Favorable down and distance for the defense. That's Jordan Clay's first carry. He loses a yard.
He looked a little tentative in terms of coming up under the hole there. Just haven't seen the burst from him that we saw earlier in the season. And I know he's had some illness and injuries over the course of the season that slowed him down. So
he's so explosive. If he can get loose,
right,
he is such an elusive back. It is now 2nd and 11. Ball spotted at the 8. Lingard back in the game with Clay. They flank Robinson Wayne in the backfield. Takes the snap, hands it to Lingard. Lingard trying to cut it upfield, nothing there.
Nothing there.
DeSmet sniffed that out, and again, a loss back to the 5-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 15, and you got to be very careful here on 3rd and 15.
Yeah, you do. You need to be cautious on this situation, and be interesting to see what CBC decides to dial up here.
Makai Wingo in on the stop once again. We're going to get a timeout, I think. Nope, that's the end of the first quarter. The CBC Cadets 14, the DeSmet Spartans nothing here at DeSmet High School. The Class 6 District 1 semifinal between the number 1 seed Spartans, the number 4 seed Cadets. We're in the Tim Kylo broadcast booth, and don't forget about our friend Tim Kylo for all of your insurance needs. Give him a call at 314-842-4442 or shoot him an email at tim@timkylo, that's KILO.com. So, Coach, we talked about it at the top. Don't make mistakes, force some turnovers, and win first and second down on defense. And so far, so good.
Well, DeSmet's got their yards, and they've moved the ball. But one of the things in high school football, and we preach it very much on the lower level, but it's still true on the high school level, is if you can force teams to methodically drive, okay, and they've got to take lots of time and lots of plays, they're going to make a mistake. These are, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. They're bound to make a mistake. It's just in their nature to do that. And, even on the collegiate level, you see that. You don't see many teams that are very successful when they've just got to drive, and eat up lots of plays and lots of yards in small bits.
3rd and 13 for CBC to start the second quarter. 3rd and 13, empty backfield. Robinson Wayne's going to keep it himself. Up the middle, dives forward across the 10. He tripped up. Sort of got his feet caught up in the turf, I think. It'll be 4th and long, unless someone nicked him right coming out of the backfield.
Well, he might have gotten tackled by the turf trying to make a tough cut off of the block right there. But here's the deal. He bought a little bit of breathing room for the punter. And that can't be underscored there. The other aspect of that is I love that look for CBC. That's we call it Gator. Because Aiden Robinson Wayne's like having a running back
right
there. Spread them out, give yourself some space, and let him try to run.
4th down and 8, standing in his end zone is Charlton. Takes the snap, left-footed punt is a good one. All the way back into DeSmet. Boy, 2 beautiful punts by Tyler Charlton away from Snyder, bounces him out of bounds, good distance, good hang time. Wow, real good punts there.
He has been tremendous as he's kind of worked his way in as the primary punter. That was never Loomis's strong suit to begin with. He's a kicker. Primarily, and when you start mixing those two skills, sometimes one screws up the other, and it's been, I think, a good fit for everybody that Charlton's been able to kind of take that job. Now, primarily CBC was using him from midfield in for those directional, trying to kick it and down it inside the 20, inside the 10, but now they're using him all over the place.
Michael Wheeler back in the game at quarterback. DeSmet going left to right on your screen. Rico Barfield flanks Wheeler in the backfield, and Barfield gets the handoff. Mike West was there. On the other side of Mike West, I'm trying to see the
Honig
number.
Was there, and then is that TJ? I think that's TJ Summers on the other side.
So 2 CBC defenders in the backfield, and Barfield had nowhere to go. He did pick up about 2.
So one of the things I see CBC doing is Tyler Dixon's not playing a traditional linebacker position. He's playing like 7-8 yards, and I think his whole job is almost as an extra safety. You're strictly against the run.
Sidearm throw is caught by John. Nope, that's number 7, Rashad Smith-Harvey. Makes the catch. It'll be 3rd and 2. But nice throw there by Wheeler.
Yeah, it was.
Sidearm throw.
I think his job is to stop the run. I mean, he's there to be the safety valve so they don't spring anything big. So his whole job is to, I don't know this, I'm looking at this, is to catch the guy getting through, and they're going to try to do everything else with the guys up front.
3rd and 2 for DeSmet at the 47 of CBC. Wheeler out of the gun. Barfield flanked with him in the backfield. He gives it to Barfield near side. Cuts it upfield. He's got the first down and more. Inside the 30. Inside the 25. And Jordan Marshall finally brought him down, and that's a big-time run by Rico Barfield.
Well, and on that particular play, they blitzed Dixon from way deep. They just sent him sprinting through. Problem was it was on the wrong side of the formation from where the ball was going, and that's not Tyler's fault. That's just the way it worked out. They ran it the other direction. He wasn't there as that safety valve as he's been on so many other plays already in this game, and Butts was able to get into the secondary.
First down and 10 at the CBC 23. Under 10 minutes to go first half. Wheeler out of the gun to Barfield. Counter, left side. He's got room. Inside the 10. Finally dragged down at the 9. Another big run for the Spartans as they're starting to wear down that CBC defense a little bit.
Well, and what you're seeing is he's starting one way on that play, and then he cuts back after CBC over pursues.
Here's Barfield again, pounding it up the middle inside the 5 to about the 3. And DeSmet now with tempo, getting to the line of scrimmage quickly.
Well, but this is going to slow things down a little bit as they were trying to make some substitutions.
Taj Butts now checks in. Barfield, it seems a shame. Barfield did all that work on this drive, and then they give it to Butts here at the end. Let's see if CBC can get a stop. 2nd and goal. Ball spotted at the 2. This is Butts picking his way. Touchdown. Taj Butts, and DeSmet is on the board. Another good long drive by the Spartans. We talked about it at the top. 67% of their offensive plays from scrimmage this year are running plays. That drive no different. Only one pass, and they ran it pretty much all the way down the field.
They did, and that pass was a low-risk, high-percentage slant.
Right.
Not going to have a whole lot of trouble there. But, I think you were crazy if you thought CBC was going to hold DeSmet off the board, averaging 48 points a game and, pretty much dominating everybody they play for the most part.
The extra point is good, and DeSmet now trails 14-7 to CBC with 9:01 to go until halftime.
Go ahead. No, go.
I was going to say, don't forget about our friends on eastbay.com. If you want to get any of your CBC gears, CBC and Under Armour, of course, are partners, but you can get all of your gear at eastbay.com.
I think on this next possession, CBC's got to find a way to eat some clock. Whether they score or not isn't so much the issue, is they need to eat some clock, as I see one of the soccer captains, Sam Benoist, down with the cadet crew, helping get these guys fired up. But they need to eat some clock and get some first downs. Let that defense kind of regroup a little bit. Even though CBC has had the 14-0 lead and it's still up 14-7, the defense has been on the field a lot, and they played physical football a lot already.
You just talked about soccer. They just won districts again, correct?
They do. They play on
Tuesday. They play Tuesday, and who do they get?
They have at Kirkwood.
At Kirkwood.
That time of that game is, as I heard at lunch, still to be decided. A lot of it depends on what happens with Kirkwood's game at Joplin tonight in football. Believe it or not, because of practice time.
Luke Bauer will do the kicking. And he'll probably drill it through the end zone. Line drive, sails through. So CBC will start at the 20. Both these kickers with good legs, Loomis and Bauer. And we've said it over the years. I mean, I know the CBC fans are tired of hearing it, but we've seen it with CBC kickers. It's so valuable to have a college-level leg strength kicker. I mean, and it's not common in high school.
No, it's not.
And
I mean, it's a huge difference maker for these teams in this. And it's another aspect of the game that I think gets overlooked a lot of times. And it's, good kicking so far.
Looks like Ray Lingard took the direct snap. No gain on the play.
Yeah, they're calling Robinson Wayne, but that was Ray Lingard at quarterback in a little bit of a wildcat look.
Robinson Wayne was lined up right next to him as the tailback.
Know.
So
I wonder whether that was accidental. I wonder whether or not the centers, for whatever reason, but it looks like CBC's going back to that Gator look.
Backfield. Yep, empty backfield. Robinson Wayne fires near side, caught by Hamilton, tries to turn it upfield, and doesn't
they got about 5.
Yeah, so it'll be
a 3rd and 5.
3rd and 5 for the Cadets. Manageable here. 8:27 to go until halftime. CBC had a 14-0 lead. DeSmet just drove it downfield 70-plus yards and scored. It's 14-7 now here, second quarter. Big third down for CBC at their own 25. Empty backfield. Robinson Wayne fires. It is tipped. I thought it was tipped at the line of scrimmage because that sort of flailed to the turf right in front of Zach Hahn.
Yeah, it did. And this is a tough situation here for CBC. Now they're going to have to punt again. And DeSmet's getting a little bit of getting a little bit of traction as we go a little bit further into this half. And CBC's going to need to find an answer.
Back deep, Derez Snyder stands at his 41. Charlton's done a brilliant job keeping punts away from him. It's 4th and 5 at their own 25. Wobbly snap. Charlton takes it and booms another one. Snyder's going to try to field this one. Nope, he'll stay away from it. Takes a CBC bounce. Rolls all the way down to the 22.
What a great punt right there. So down to the 22 from the 25. So that's a pretty darn good punt there for Charlton with the roll. And I should be able to do the math, but I'm not going to.
That's 20. I'm doing 52-yard punt.
There you go,
Coach.
52 yards. And that's a great situation right there for CBC to get to pin them back deep, considering where we were.
Snyder will come out in the backfield now for DeSmet. It's his turn. They run a trio of big-time tailbacks here at DeSmet.
I wonder if they rock, paper, scissors their way in or what.
Wheeler to Snyder. Snyder bounces it outside. He's got room. He may take it. Chasing him down was Tyler Dixon, but a huge gain. That's now 3 big gains out of their last 4 or 5 running plays for the DeSmet tailbacks.
And CBC stopping the initial point of attack, but it's the cutbacks right now that is killing them.
First down and 10 at the 43. Snyder again cuts it up inside. He breaks free down to the CBC 40, and now DeSmet is just gashing the CBC defense on the ground. They're going to get on the line of scrimmage quickly. DeSmet playing tempo here. Under 8 to play until halftime. Wheeler to Snyder. Snyder picks his way, bounces it outside, and run out of bounds after a gain of about 9. Jordan Marshall over there and Tyler Dixon.
Tyler Dixon's been very, very active. The problem is it's been very much in the CBC secondary or in and around that linebacker core. CBC's front 5 needs to be doing a little bit better job in gaining penetration, and that's going to be hard to do against a very big, very experienced offensive line of DeSmet.
And a penalty on top of the play, it looks like, because they're going to mark it off all the way down to the 25.
I don't know where that was spot. Looks like a face mask.
So 1st and 10 DeSmet at the 25-yard line of CBC. They started at their own 22, and they've gotten down here fairly quickly and fairly easily.
So DeSmet is definitely regrouped. CBC needs to do the same on defense here.
Wheeler out of the gun. He's got Taj Butts with him. Butts up the middle, lowers his shoulder, and he's going to get inside the 5, and he's going to drag a tackler in for 6. 25-yard touchdown, Taj Butts. And the DeSmet offense is back on track, Coach.
They are. They've definitely evened this back up after CBC had a little bit of momentum. CBC's offense wasn't able to answer.
So DeSmet will attempt the extra point now. Luke Bauer comes out. A lot of talking going on after the play. Referees are trying to make sure nothing extracurricular happens. As a matter of fact, the official came over to talk to the DeSmet bench. Snap back, ball down. Kick is up, and we'll wait about 5 seconds. It's good. 14-14. 7:43 to go until halftime, and CBC owned the first quarter. DeSmet has owned the second quarter.
Yeah, and CBC's got to find a way to kind of slow things down here a little bit for themselves, get some first downs, put a drive together. They really need to let their defense regroup here a little bit.
What can the Cadets do on first down to pick up more? Because, again, I think DeSmet's defense has really stopped them on first down.
I really think CBC is going to have to throw the ball in order to win this game. They're going to have to throw to open the run as opposed to run to open a throw.
Right.
I just don't know that when you're predetermined, we're going to run on first down. I think DeSmet's going to be very much ready for that. And I think any sort of mixing it up on first and second down can hopefully maybe get DeSmet off balance a little bit. And I think that's going to be important.
Luke Bauer will do the kicking once again for DeSmet. He'll kick left to right on your screen. 7:43 to go until halftime. 14-14 the score. Class 6 District 1 semifinal between the DeSmet Spartans and the CBC Cadets. The winner will go to the district championship game next week. High kick, and it's going to be returnable. Cutting it up inside, across the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 up the sideline. If I'm correct, that's Dakota Mayo.
It is, the freshman.
And by the way, he's a dangerous kick returner in his own right.
He is. He doesn't get many opportunities because we play against so many teams that can put it in the end zone. But he's the guy they want to have the ball back there. They set everything up for him to be able to get it. He's a speedster as a freshman. He's a guy they're going to be relying on as a receiver and a return guy for the next 3 years after this. So nice return for some field position there for CBC. Oh, they called him out. Was there a penalty or was he out of bounds?
Stepped out of bounds at the 35.
Well, shoot, then there should have been a penalty up here when they piled on him going out of bounds.
Movement in the formation now for the Cadets. Robinson Wayne motions Hamilton and Hahn to the far side. Takes the snap. He's going to fire quickly on the wide receiver screen, and it's dangerous, incomplete. He airmailed that for Hamilton, and there were DeSmet Spartans buzzing all over the place.
Well, that looks like they were ready for that particular play coming at them. They were ready to jump that bubble screen, and
now,
thankfully the throw was a little offline because I think had he thrown a laser to Hamilton, he might have gotten picked off.
Coach, are you surprised at all? The last half of the season, Heidert has gotten some snaps in the first half. Are you surprised they haven't brought him in yet?
A little bit.
Robinson Wayne going deep. He's got Hahn open.
There we go.
Zach Hahn inside the 25, streaking down the middle of the field. Big gain for the Cadets.
I know there was some talk that Patrick banged up his hand earlier this week, so he may not be able to play right now because they haven't used him at tight end either, and he's been their primary tight end.
First down and 10, CBC in DeSmet territory. Robinson Wayne now looking for Brinson, far side.
Oh,
and no flag on the play.
Okay.
Wow.
Boy, they're really going to let him play then because he had his hands all over him and was not really making a play on the ball. I don't know where that goes, but I'll tell you what. I'd rather see that than what we saw last week.
Yes, for sure. So second and 10, and that was, again, number 6, Jacqueline Johnson, who's been covering Chevalier Brinson. That's the matchup to watch while CBC's on offense in the passing game. Those two going at it. Second and 10 for the Cadets. 7:13 to play until halftime. Tie game, 14 apiece. Robinson Wayne sets up, fires, far side, and it's caught. It is caught.
Is that Kenneth Hamilton?
That's Kenneth Hamilton over there on the far side. What a catch!
So
at the 14.
We talk about growing in miscues. Kenneth played was a key contributor in that first game and had some miscues in there on a couple of plays, and he's already had 2 huge catches in this game, and we're still in the first half.
First and goal. No, first and 10 at the 14. Robinson Wayne will keep it himself up the middle. He's hit hard. No gain on the play, and that's
Armand Wallace.
Wingo once again in there. Was it Wallace as well?
I think Armand Wallace was in on that as well.
Oh, yeah. Armand Wallace, number 55, and number 58, Makai Wingo. Loss of 1. Second and 11 at the 15.
They're going back to Gator.
Empty backfield here. 5 wide for CBC. Robinson Wayne steps up, fires. Looking in the corner, He overthrew Brinson.
And on that particular play, I think Brinson misjudged the ball a little bit when it first went up in the air because he pulled up just a half a step, I think, to try to adjust to make sure he could shield the defender, and I think he just needed to keep running.
Penalty flag on the play. Let's see where.
Back where that is usually a hold.
Coach, we mentioned, Chevalier Brinson at the top. Only 2 catches in that first game. Already been a big presence in this first half. He has a touchdown catch, 2 other catches, and they're going to him in this half. They really
are.
Made it a focus.
They're trying to isolate him. I got to remember, that was only his 4th varsity football game in that first game, and he had dominated so easily in the first 3 games. I think he was a little starstruck.
Jordan Clay checks in at tailback. He's going to get the screen, but there's nothing there.
Oh, man.
Wow, that's a huge loss all the way back to the 36-yard line.
Okay, so here on that particular play, Aiden's got to see that.
Yes.
He's got to see that guy coming, and he's got to throw it right at Jordan's feet. He's got to just chuck it right at his feet.
That was actually Artie McAlpine, but yes, agreed there. So that makes it 3rd and 31.
Now, Artie did not do a great job on selling that screen, and he flipped out and on that particular play, but he can't see that extra guy coming. So if the ball's coming to him, he's got to try and catch it.
They got to get about 10 yards to get back in Loomis's range here. Robinson Wayne scrambles. He's sacked at the 40. Back there to get him was Makai Wingo, and that's his 11th sack of the season. And, boy, that drive ended in disaster. It was 1st down and 10 at the 14-yard line. It's now 4th down all the way back at the 40, and the Cadets will punt. That is going to – let's hope that this doesn't come back to haunt the Cadets.
Yeah, you got to look at it from that point of view, but it is what it is at this particular point. You definitely got down deep on them, and you made some mistakes, but –
Charlton Ingalls at far side.
We got a penalty on the far side over here. I don't know what they're going to call. He threw the flag down here. You can't really see it on their sideline. The vantage point that you have from the DeSmet stands is not nearly that you have from when you're in the CBC stands. There's a lot less of a grade to the stadium, and you have a hard time seeing over the sideline, the players on the sideline.
So it looks like they're going to mark it down inside the 20.
Sideline warning.
Sideline warning called against DeSmet.
Now, are they calling a penalty, a sideline penalty, or just a warning? It looks like maybe they're just calling a warning. So and what happened there, what usually happens in that situation is the official's running down the field in order to keep an eye on the play. He bumps into or has to jump around somebody on the sideline. Everybody's supposed to be completely clear of that white area when the play starts.
4:48 to play until halftime. It's a tie game, 14 apiece. DeSmet has it 1st and 10 at their own 18. Wheeler hands it off. Up the middle. Driving. And I'm trying to see who that is. It looks like Barfield once again. Rico Barfield, the ball carrier. Pick up a 5. It'll be 2nd and 5.
CBC is definitely daring them to pass the ball. Now, they've got a tight end, and they got double tie. They're playing definitely a very heavy run set. So CBC's in a position to not have to be as concerned about the pass.
Barfield again cuts it upfield. He's hit there. Tyler Dixon and number 7. That is Morgan.
Yeah, Jeffrey Morgan, a sophomore.
So it'll be 3rd down here. Nope, he got the first.
He got the first down, but not by much.
Barely got it. So at the 29, it'll be 1st and 10. Still running that big set penalty flag. Let's see if we get another false start here on 1st and 10. It is. So it'll be 1st and 15 for the Spartans. 3:55 to go until halftime. In case you're just joining us, the CBC Cadets jumped out to a 14-0 lead, took advantage of a fumble recovery, took advantage of a fake punt that DeSmet did not capitalize on. CBC had great field position on both those drives, scored 2 touchdowns. But DeSmet has come back in the second quarter to tie it. 2 long touchdown drives sparked by that tremendous backfield. Stutter step to the outside, but nothing there.
He got about 3, but he had to jump around Mike West there, and then the CBC was able to pursue and get down in there. So Nice play there by CBC.
Sam Weber.
Yes,
Tackle, number 72.
Sam's been a major factor on this, but he's been playing so much offensive line, it's really impacted his defensive play.
Approaching 3 minutes to go until halftime.
Not a whole lot of urgency on the part of DeSmet in terms of the tempo of this particular series, and they had great success kind of going tempo earlier in the game.
Let's see if they're going to put the ball in the air. They haven't had much success doing it thus far. Barfield again. Nope, that's Snyder, Derez Snyder. It'll be 3rd and 6.
Looks
maybe
like
7.
Looks like Mike West might be tangled up on Snyder. They're connected together down there. The official's trying to get him off.
Wonder if his helmet got caught.
Or a pad. Sometimes the helmets can get locked together too, face mask to face mask.
So it's 3rd and 6 for the Cadets. Derez Snyder in the game for DeSmet. CBC faithful on their feet here at DeSmet High School. 2:28 to go until halftime. It's tied at 14. Hand off to Snyder, picking his way, bounces it to the outside, and he will get the first down.
Oh, that's a killer.
Across
they had him bottled up.
43.
Looked like they were going to be able to hold him up and couldn't get him down.
A 9-yard carry on 3rd and 6. And DeSmet has it 1st and 10 at the 40. And there's going to be a timeout called by Coach Steeples. And DeSmet wants to talk it over with 2:13 to play. How are they going to approach it? And, Coach, they haven't put it up. I mean, they haven't really thrown the ball maybe 3 times this entire half. And are they going to have to throw the ball here with 2 minutes to go? And Coach Steeples really wants to talk about it.
Well, he does. And it's interesting to me with their talent. I just don't understand why they're not trying to be a little more balanced. They've got 2 good quarterbacks that both can sling it. We've seen them. You've got good receivers, a tremendous freshman tight end, running backs, and they are very content to just methodically pound the ball. And the more CBC can slow them down, the more it gives, it beats on their defense, beats on CBC's defense, but it keeps the score down. I think that they could be a lot more explosive, or at least attempt to be much more explosive. Now, it's not in their DNA right now, but I don't quite understand what the thinking is.
And quite honestly, it hasn't been in their DNA all year.
No. Colin Bell wraps up the running back right there. Gain of about 3 or 4.
About 3 or 4. Good play by that CBC defense to stand up Derez Snyder. Now, Snyder is staying in the game because out of the 3 receivers, he is the best pass catcher. 2nd and 6.
There it is.
Fake to Snyder. He's going to go deep down the middle. Intercepted! No, he dropped it. Oh, Cam Powell. Who has been a huge.
Yes.
He has made huge plays all season.
He's beaten himself up, but that's a huge play.
And that ball was not on the mark. That was way out in front of Jordan Johnson. And so, again, we talked about it. If CBC can control the early downs and make them throw, CBC is hanging in this game. And CBC can win this game playing the defense they're playing right now. Big tailback up the middle. Taj Butts that was all Taj Butts. He drilled his way up the middle, ran over the first level, got to the second level, and ran over guys at the second level.
Yeah, he did, and that's fine. But as soon as this ball's set and that box is set, the clock's going to run. Now, they got 2 timeouts left according to the scoreboard.
Taj Butts at 5'11", 205. I think he's a little more than 205.
Yeah, it's very possible.
1:25 to go. Butts will take it again, and he just pounds it all the way, dragging tacklers inside the 30. 1st and 10 at the 29, and that'll be an official timeout. I heard a whistle. Yep, there's a CBC player down. Cam Powell's going to come over and check. That looks like Honig. That would be a big loss.
He's been a factor in this half. He has been a very much of a factor in the game so far. You see Scott Pingle and defensive line coach Vic Northern coming out to take a look at Mr. Honig.
Those last two runs by Taj Butts have put DeSmet in a situation to put points up here before the half. And, you know, after the timeout, Coach Steeples, you know, you figured they'd talk it over, see if they wanted to throw it. They threw one pass. It was almost intercepted. They went right back to the run.
Yeah, they went right back to the run. It's still – will be interesting to see. I would do things a little differently, but you know what? Nobody's asking me to do a darn thing other than talk about it on an internet broadcast.
I will say, you know, they're 10-0 doing it this way. But
yeah, they are.
67%, we talked about it already, of their offense comes on the ground. They average about 14 passes a game. They don't throw the ball very much. They're,
you know, whoever
one of 4 throwing the ball tonight so far.
Whoever gets through this game, you know, whoever wins this district has got a juggernaut of their own waiting for them from the Kansas City side. Whether that ends up being Rockhurst or Liberty North or Park Hill, the 4 schools left over there are going to be physical up front football teams. And then that semifinal for whoever comes out of this district is going to be a war.
Butts stays in the game at tailback, Wheeler in at quarterback, and Honig needed help. He couldn't put any pressure on that right leg, and that is not a good sign.
That's not a good sign.
Forget what it means to the defense. You just feel for that young man. All right, 1:15 to play and counting until halftime. Fake on the pitch.
Oh, they had him in the backfield.
They had him in the backfield.
And he
Butts breaks
through.
free. He's inside
He's
the 5.
Score.
Touchdown to Smith. 29 yards, Taj Butts. They had a couple of chances to bring him down, and he just ran over defenders on his way for 6. And boy, is he a physical, hard runner.
So here we are. We're kind of right back where we were a few weeks ago, and it's a question of whether or not CBC is going to be able to make some adjustments. Now, here's the one thing I'll say. CBC has definitely looked much more the part on offense this time around than they did last time early on in the game.
Luke Bauer's extra point is up and good, and DeSmet leads 21-14 with 1:04 to play until halftime. So a 14-0 lead for CBC has now evaporated and turned into a 7-point advantage for DeSmet, 21-14, second quarter action.
We'll see what Coach Pingle decides to do coming out of this as far as the kickoff is concerned, whether or not he's going to try to make something happen or whether he's going to play it conservative and go in at halftime down 21-14. My guess is they'll probably run a running play to start the drive. Maybe go, the Gator formation, the empty backfield, and run with that Robinson Wayne. Try to see whether or not he can spring one. And then depending on what happens on that, then they'll look to decide whether or not they want to keep trying to move the ball or whether they're like, all right, let's regroup at halftime and see what we can put together.
Bauer set to kick for the Spartans. Dakota Mayo deep. Kenneth Hamilton deep, it looks like. 1:04 to play. 21-14 Spartans. Class 6 District 1 semifinal. And here's the kick. It's going to be deep and
returnable.
Not
here.
Deep enough. Mayo at the 2. Across the 5, across the 10. Up the middle, following blockers, and he gets out to the 22-yard line, and that was dangerous. Looked like that ball, they were DeSmet going for the strip there, but Dakota Mayo hung on to it. It'll be 1st and 10 for CBC at the 22. Cold night here in St. Louis, about 30 degrees. And our Tim Kylo broadcast booth is outside.
Yeah, I need to talk to Tim about that. I jest, folks,
yes,
but
yes.
It is chilly. There's a great playoff atmosphere here for DeSmet.
Yeah, packed house, standing room only.
Not quite the crowd we had for that ESPN game earlier.
Robinson Wayne's going to go deep. He's got Brenson behind the defense, but he led him towards the hash, and Brenson didn't adjust in time.
He had to adjust a lot sooner than he did, and I think that ball was supposed to be thrown a little bit further outside than it was.
Brinson had a step, too.
Coach needs to be careful. Coach Fingal needs to be careful right here because DeSmet's still sitting on 2 timeouts. If I'm looking at that correctly, you don't want to give them another crack at it.
2nd and 10, CBC. They're going to run it here. Nothing there. Jordan Clay. Only his 2nd carry of the game, and he, I believe, has -1 yard so far.
Yeah, that's he has not been able to kind of get it going.
Well, the CBC hasn't really gotten the run game going at all. Other than the big Aiden Robinson-Wayne run in the first quarter, there really hasn't been a lot of big running plays here for the Cadets.
No, and you're watching CBC is going to milk the clock down, one last play. Looks like they're going to take it in at halftime. Whether they'll down the ball or actually run a play, I don't know.
CBC will start on defense in the second half. They started with the ball. And there's a timeout with 6 seconds to play. And so, yes, they'll have to run a play because if they just took a knee, DeSmet can call a timeout and then force them to punt.
Well, with 6 seconds left, I don't know whether or not DeSmet would want to do something like that or not.
21-14 DeSmet. It's been a tale of 2 quarters. CBC had a 14-0 lead headed to the second quarter. DeSmet has scored 21 points here in this second quarter, and they lead now 21-14. A great game so far. If you're just now tuning in, you missed a ton of great action in this first half between a storied rivalry, DeSmet and CBC.
And it looks like maybe A.J. Frazier warming up on the sideline a little bit more here. I don't.
Hand off to Lingard up the middle. He's going to cut it near side across the 40 and finally brought down at the 41. And that'll end the first half. The CBC Cadets and the DeSmet Spartans battling in this Class 6 District 1 semifinal game. And the score at halftime, DeSmet 21, CBC 14. Coach Maris and I will be back for the second half shortly.
CBC alum and State Farm agent Tim Kylo is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the Cadet Student Network. For more than 25 years, Tim and his team have helped their clients protect what is most valuable to them. Whether it's home, auto, or business, CBC Alumni Hall of Famer Tim Kylo prides himself on his commitment to the CBC community, and he can help protect you and your family too. Give him a call at 314-842-4442 to see how Tim can save you money on your insurance. Learn more online at timkylo.com.
Men for tomorrow, brothers for life. We say it often and we take great pride in our commitment to this motto. That commitment has become a part of who we are at CBC.
Our brotherhood is well defined. We see it, we feel it, we experience it every day. It's in the relationships we establish, the moments we share, and the memories we will cherish forever.
But what does it mean to be a man for tomorrow? It means that you've prepared your mind, your body, your spirit, and your conscience for anything that life might throw your way. Your experiences at CBC should push you, challenge you, and inspire you to make the world a better place. And after 4 years, Every cadet who walks across that stage at graduation will be a man who is guided by faith, strengthened by intellect, committed to justice, and prepared to lead and serve.
I am a difference maker. Oh, I am only one who speaks to him. And I am the friendliest of friends of God. I am a difference maker. Oh, I am only one who speaks to him. And I am the friendliest of friends of God.
At CBC, we win awards, championships, and accolades of all kinds. We love to celebrate together and couldn't be more proud of these accomplishments. But ultimately, our purpose is much greater. CBC is here to develop young men who will go out and make a difference in the world. That's a man for tomorrow.
A CBC high school education is about a transformation from boys to men. It is about the formation of a brotherhood that will stand the test of time. It is about service and discovery. It is about coming to understand the world around us and the people that live in it, and ourselves through real life experiences.
Welcome to the Innovation Commons here at CBC High School. We're always so excited when our classes meet in this brand new facility. Whether we're building something new, collaborating on a group project, or talking with a guest speaker, this place makes learning fun. There are so many opportunities here. Take a look at what our teachers are doing to make our high school experience so valuable.
There's just a shift in education, a shift in learning to benefit our students. If we're talking about really helping to prepare these students, these young men, to go beyond these walls, then we have to do our due diligence and provide that type of environment.
One of the things that we like about the space is it mimics what's happening in industries, right? So we know that this is a shift not only in the way schools are moving, but the way companies are moving and businesses, and we wanted that kind of authentic experience. If we teach only what we know, we're doing them a disservice.
Big time.
We got to teach them how to learn on their own, because before long they know more than we.
One of the first lessons that we teach our guys in freshman leadership class is that everything builds off of character. And then we move into things like commitment and understanding what commitment is truly about, and the importance of seeing something through, having the resiliency to not cave at the first sign of adversity. It takes grit.
We're focusing on leading yourself before you can go out and lead others, and really trying to define what leadership is. It's not necessarily being, captain of a team or a club, president of a club. Really, it's about trying to just impact the world in a positive way.
And when the guys walk into this place, there's something that changes. I asked one of my students the other day, I said, what do you think the difference is? They said, well, when you come in here to work. And so this place, just by the very nature of being in here, changes the mindset. It changes their way of thinking.
CBC alum and State Farm agent Tim Kylo is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the Cadet Student Network. For more than 25 years, Tim and his team have helped their clients protect what is most valuable to them. Whether it's home, auto, or business, CBC Alumni Hall of Famer Tim Kylo prides himself on his commitment to the CBC community, and he can help protect you and your family too. Give him a call at 314-842-4442 to see how Tim can save you money on your insurance. Learn more online at timkylo.com.
Men for tomorrow, brothers for life. We say it often, and we take great pride in our commitment to this motto. That commitment has become a part of who we are at CBC.
Our brotherhood is well defined. We see it, we feel it, we experience it every day. It's in the relationships we establish, the moments we share, and the memories we will cherish forever.
But what does it mean to be a man for tomorrow? It means that you've prepared your mind, your body, your spirit, and your conscience for anything that life might throw your way. Your experiences at CBC should push you, challenge you, and inspire you to make the world a better place. And after 4 years, every cadet who walks across that stage at graduation will be a man who is guided by faith, strengthened by intellect, committed to justice, and prepared to lead and serve.
I am a difference maker. Oh, I am only one who speaks to him, and I am the friendliest of friends of God. I am a
At CBC, we win awards, championships, and accolades of all kinds. We love to celebrate together and couldn't be more proud of these accomplishments. But ultimately, our purpose is much greater. CBC is here to develop young men who will go out and make a difference in the world. That's a man for tomorrow.
A CBC high school education is about a transformation from boys to men. Is about the formation of a brotherhood that will stand the test of time. It is about service and discovery. It is about coming to understand the world around us and the people that live in it, and ourselves through real life experiences.
Welcome to the Innovation Commons here at CBC High School. We're always so excited when our classes meet in this brand new facility. Whether we're building something new, collaborating on a group project, or talking with the guest speaker, this place makes learning fun. There are so many opportunities here. Take a look at what our teachers are doing to make our high school experience so valuable.
There's just a shift in education, a shift in learning to benefit our students. If we're talking about really helping to prepare these students, these young men, to go beyond these walls, then we have to do our due diligence and provide that type of environment.
One of the things that we like about the space is it mimics what's happening in industries, right? So we know that this is a shift not only in the way schools are moving, but the way companies are moving and businesses, and we wanted that kind of authentic experience. If we teach only what we know, we're doing them a disservice.
Big time.
We got to teach them how to learn on their own, because before long they know more than we.
One of the first lessons that we teach our guys in freshman leadership class is that everything builds off of character. And then we move into things like commitment and understanding what commitment is truly about, and the importance of seeing something through, having the resiliency to not cave at the first sign of adversity. It takes grit.
We're focusing on leading yourself before you can go out and lead others, and really trying to define what leadership is. It's not necessarily being, captain of a team or a club, president of a club. Really, it's about trying to just impact the world in a positive way.
And when the guys walk into this place, there's something that changes. I asked one of my students the other day, I said, what do you think the difference is? They said, well, when you come in here to work. And so this place, just by the very nature of being in here, changes the mindset. It changes their way of thinking.
CBC alum and State Farm agent Tim Kylo is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the Cadet Student Network. For more than 25 years, Tim and his team have helped their clients protect what is most valuable to them. Whether it's home, auto, or business, CBC Alumni Hall of Famer Tim Kylo prides himself on his commitment to the CBC community, and he can help protect you and your family too. Give him a call at 314-842-4442 to see how Tim can save you money on your insurance. Learn more online at timkylo.com.
We're back at DeSmet High School for the second half of the Class 6 District 1 semifinal game between the DeSmet Spartans and the CBC Cadets. You're watching on the Cadet Student Network. We're in the Tim Kylo broadcast booth. State Farm agent and CBC alum Tim Kylo will help you with your insurance needs. Give him a call at 314-842-4442 or shoot him an email, tim@timkylo, that's KILO.com. My name's Randy Molman. Chris Maris is alongside. It's 21-14 Spartans, coach, but it was really a tale of two quarters. CBC came out, jumped out to that 14-0 lead, and then DeSmet came back in the second and took the lead before halftime.
Yeah, they did, and CBC has played much better in this game than they did in the first game, but they haven't played well enough still. You know, they've missed some opportunities. They got down into the red zone, and they kind of went backwards, which is some of what we saw in the first game, but they were able to capitalize on a turnover. They had a good kickoff return that helped them on a drive, and they've had some very good positive things happen on offense. They just need a little bit more of that. And the defense is going to have to find an answer to the running game because, you know, if you're DeSmet and what you've been able to do running the football, you just don't have to stop. And the few times that DeSmet's had to throw the ball, it has, been, they've struggled and almost self-destructed in that particular situation. So you really want to try to force them to throw the ball and get out of their comfort zone. Even though I think they have a lot of talent and could have a very prolific passing game, we've talked about that. That's not part of their DNA, and it's not something that we're going to expect them to all of a sudden roll out this high-powered, air attack.
CBC will kick off to start the second half. On the drives where CBC got stops, they were very successful on first and second down. We're going to see if they can do that here in the second half. But DeSmet, so many weapons in the backfield. The three-headed monster, of course, between Barfield, Butts, and Snyder. And Taj Butts has really been a game changer for DeSmet. In that second quarter, he was rolling.
Yeah, he was pretty dominant in that game, in the quarter, and a lot of it was him. I mean, the offensive line was doing their part, but a lot of cutbacks. When CBC looked like they had him cut off, he'd make a cut, and he'd cut it back against the grain, and, where CBC didn't have a guy, and, it presented some problems.
So Loomis will do the kicking. CBC going right to left on your screen to start the third quarter. Back deep. Number 1, Jordan Johnson goes deep. And that's the first time we've seen him go deep. Derez Snyder, of course, is the main kick returner. He stands right in the middle.
And they've got Taj Butts is on the bike down here in front of us.
Actually, Snyder is now the up man. He's going to guard against that little pooch kick. He's going to see if he can catch CBC off guard if they want to do that pooch kick again. Loomis recognized it, kicked it deep. You're not going to fool Eric Loomis, Coach.
Well, you might, but that's no slight on Eric. They're high school kids. But the coaching staff obviously recognized that, and Coach Wayner's a pretty good special teams coach. You could see that obviously they made an adjustment. A lot of times when you run your kicker out there, you run them out there and you're like, okay, this is what we're going to do, but check with me in case we see something we don't like. And, they have a signal or whatever to kind of change it up. I'm kind of guessing that's what they decided to do.
Taj Butts will start in the backfield with quarterback Michael Wheeler.
I haven't seen A.J. Frazier at all in this game.
We have not. Wheeler's been the quarterback throughout. Butts cuts it back, picks up about close to 5. They're going to mark it as 4.
And CBC is slowing them down, but not enough. I mean, if you're going to get 5 yards a carry on the majority of your plays, you just, you don't really have to change your game plan very much.
They did give them 5 at the 25, 2nd and 5. And the Spartans are, like you said, they've run tempo at times in the first half, but they've been very methodical most of the game on offense. Here's Butts again. He's going to cut it back. Good tackle there in the backfield and run out of bounds by Tyler Dixon. Their
nice
first
play.
Was number 3, TJ Summers.
Now, he did a nice job to string that out a little bit. You'd like to play a little bit on the outside of that play instead of inside out, but he held him up just enough. and you put him in this third and 5. And now, look, this is a team that's going to run the ball. You know, I think you got to have them a 3rd and 7 or more to guarantee they're going to put the ball in the air. But this definitely is something they can do, and the CBC sideline's going crazy.
3rd down and 5. Handoff again to Butts. Powers over the right side, and he'll have a 1st down. He picked up 6.
The old Nebraska counter pulled the guard and tackle, leading them around. And CBC's got to be able to do a better job at the point of attack. The guy who's getting kicked out's got to be able to bust that up a little bit. He's not able to do that.
Rico Barfield now checks into the backfield for DeSmet. 1st down and 10 at the 32. Wheeler, high snap. Boom! Ball bounced,
Dang.
but Barfield grabbed it. He juggled it for about a yard, and he finally snagged it with that right hand, tucked it in, and picked up about 7.
See a Nate Kidd in on the defensive line. Probably an answer to Honig going down. Sam Wiebert's been in and out there. CBC's just rotating a lot of different guys in, trying to keep fresh guys in there, see if they can make something happen.
Nate Kidd, the sophomore, wears number 38 on that white jersey. Here's Butts again, up the middle.
Okay.
Good game.
It's a little bit better job. They got a 1st down. They are, right now, the CBC defensive line is trying to pile up the DeSmet offensive line, kind of going low on them, trying to get them on the ground, make a pile, trying to not give them to have any footing to come through there, allow the linebackers the ability to run around in there and make some plays. Ray Lingard back in at linebacker. Calvin Carey not in there right now.
1st and 10 Spartans. Here's Butts again, back to the near side. And they do run that flow to the left, and that tailback cuts it back the other way, and it's gaining big chunks of yardage for DeSmet in this game. Barfield back in now for Butts. Yes, Calvin, they're going to measure this one.
Measure.
You know, more and more, you don't see a ton of measure.
No, you don't, but we've seen more in the last 3-4 weeks than we've seen in the last probably 2 or 3 years.
9:26 to go in the 3rd quarter. First down Spartans. So a 10-yard gain on 1st down. And as much as we talk about trying to stop this high-powered running game, it's difficult. They're doing a great job cutting back against the flow of the play.
Wiebert back in at nose tackle, and they're trying to keep him fresh because he's got to play offense too. So
1st and 10 in CBC territory. Barfield cuts it, but he's hit immediately.
We need more of that. That's got to start happening a little bit more. You know, and I can't help but think Wiebert, who was a guy early on we were counting on the defensive line, didn't play a role in that particular play right there.
Ray Lingard. Great play. It's gaining about 1.5 yards. It'll be 2nd. They'll call it 9. It's more like 8.5. But 2nd and 9 officially. Again, DeSmet eating up a ton of time off the play clock. Already under over 3 minutes on this drive.
Lined up in the neutral zone. This should be offsides on the offense.
Barfield comes near side, and he's cut down by Lingard once again. It'll be 3rd and long for DeSmet.
I wonder if the guys up top notice this. The right guard or tackle for DeSmet had his hand over the football in the neutral zone. That should have been flagged and backing him up. I'll take the play, but
there is a linesman staring right at the football.
He was definitely crowding the line. I'm trying to see whether he's going to do it again. Now he's backed up a little bit.
3rd and 9 for DeSmet. Wheeler sets up, fires down the middle, incomplete.
There we go. There we go.
Down. And the CBC Cadets have done a fantastic job defending the pass. DeSmet has not thrown it very many times, 5 times in this game, and they've only completed 1 pass.
Yeah, and they did more passing in the first game. I mean, Johnson had a big touchdown catch in that first game on a post or a slant. And
in that first game, they threw 18 times, and they ran it 41 times. Good snap, Bauer to punt. High, wobbly kick.
Out of bounds. We'll take that. That's going to get marked up here a bit. We'll see.
He shanked it somewhat. That's not going to be a great punt.
He's keeping him up right there.
Wow, that's that's not even a 15. That's like a 12, 13-yard punt.
So great break right there for CBC. Not only do they slow DeSmet down on the running game there, which they hadn't been able to do much of, and that can come with predictability. Where they're trying to do the same thing, and at some point in time, a good team's going to be able to get you on that.
Aiden Robinson-Wayne back on the field for the Cadets. And to your point earlier, we have not seen Hyder. Robinson-Wayne gets away from initial pressure, and then he is sacked back inside the 30 at the 29-yard line.
Yeah, I know he banged up his hand and was having trouble throwing the ball earlier in the week, but both quarterbacks had some issues as Aiden Robinson-Wayne spent a large part of the week sick. So obviously there's probably some concern with the cold that made Patrick struggling with his thumb, that going to have a hard time hanging on to the ball.
Carter Edwards credited with the sack for DeSmet. 2nd and 13. Empty backfield. Wayne will keep it himself. Comes near side. Crosses the 35. Dives across the 40. He'll be close. It'll be 3rd and 1 for CBC.
Is there a flag?
And
I think they thought the ball might have come out.
Nope, holding CBC.
Oh.
So they'll bring this one back. A huge penalty.
I can see the flag. You can't see it through the players. Right about the 30-yard line.
There it is. A huge penalty. That was third. That would have been 3rd and 1, and instead it will be 2nd down.
2nd and about 20, depending on where they put that.
They spotted at the 20-yard line. They've got to get to the 42. It is a 2nd and 22 for CBC.
Not a lot of penalties in this game, though,
no.
For either team.
Tyler Dixon lines up at wide receiver near side. 3 wide receivers, 2 Robinson-Waynes, right top of your screen. Fakes, rolls, pressure, looking.
Get rid of it.
He finally gets rid of it.
Gosh darn it.
And that's going to be another.
That's a really bad decision by Aiden, because there's nobody over there, and that's going to be intentional grounding.
Yep.
Once he gets out and he's flushed out of the pocket, he's got to find somebody and get rid of that ball deep towards a receiver, even if you're throwing it out of bounds. That might be a spot foul, too.
And they're going to mark it way back inside the 10.
This is the kind of stuff, this is the kind of situation that we had in the first half of the last game, where CBC looked like they had something going, then all of a sudden the wheels fell off, and you're looking at that, and it's loss of down at that. So I think it's 5 yards from the spot. In this case, it was probably half the distance to the goal.
Looks like 3rd and about 36. This is the 2nd straight CBC offensive drive where they've gone significantly backwards. Jordan Clay busts it free up the middle, and he fumbled the ball. The ball is loose. It's on the ground at the 24, and DeSmet has it.
What a tough break. Jordan Clay managed to get us out of some trouble. Looked like we were going to be able to punt with some space. And now it looks like we might be handing DeSmet the ball, though there's some officials discussing the situation here.
So they may be discussing whether he was down.
The way DeSmet's walking away a little dejected, they might be calling him down.
Let's see what the officials call here. But you've got to be concerned right now. The CBC offense.
Personal foul.
Personal
head
foul.
Head to head on
DeSmet. So is that an automatic first down?
I don't know, but from where he was at the end of the play, it might be enough. No, it's not going to be enough for a first down yardage-wise, but is it an automatic first down?
Helmet-to-helmet contact on the end of that play gives CBC a chance.
That might be replay third down at that.
It is 3rd and 4.
Well, they haven't marked third down. Oh, wow. What a huge break for CBC. After getting all the way down here on the run by Aiden Robinson-Wayne earlier, they're almost back to that spot.
3rd and 4. Let's see if the Cadets can convert. Robinson-Wayne sets up, pressure coming. He fires to Hahn. It's off his hands and almost intercepted.
Looked like there might have been a little push by number 25 to take him off his route a little bit, but they didn't call it.
Caleb Purdy on the coverage, and it's 4th down and 4.
And we've not seen any pass interference flags that I can think of, even though there's been a lot of contact downfield in the passing game.
Derez Snyder now races onto the field late. I wonder if he was trying to fool the Cadets. He's now standing inside his 30. Charlton has done a brilliant job punting it tonight. There's another punt and angled to the sideline and takes a great bounce.
About the 18, 19?
I thought at the 20.
I thought that hit inside the 20 and then rolled out, but you know what? He's standing right there.
Tyler Charlton has been brilliant tonight. I mean, he has angled punts away from Snyder, and he hasn't shanked any of them. They've been great distance, and he's gotten great hops. What a performance.
Outstanding.
What a performance. DeSmet will begin 1st and 10 at the 20. That's a significant part of the explosiveness of DeSmet is their return game, and Charlton has nullified that.
Well, and even on the kickoff game as well, we haven't given them anything to return so far.
1st and 10 Spartans at the 20. 6:28 to go, 3rd quarter. Here's the snap and the handoff to Snyder. Picking his way up the field. He breaks free. Across the 40, or across the 30. Close to the 40, finally brought down.
Was that Sean Horst that came off?
Big gain on 1st down for Derez Snyder. So 1st and 10 at the 38.
Well, both of these teams boast two-headed quarterback duos, and neither team has gone to that second quarterback in this game at all.
DeSmet really hasn't had a need to. They haven't thrown very much. 5 times all game. 6:08 to play. 3rd quarter. 21-14 Spartans. There's a snap to Wheeler. He sets up now. He's going to throw down the middle of the field. Incomplete. Intended for the tight end. It was overthrown.
Looks like TJ Summers might have a cramp. Looks like you're going to have a hold maybe.
Pass interference called against CBC.
Well, here's what I don't like about that. You haven't called one, and I think there was some that were quite a bit worse than that one. But okay.
And we have an official timeout on the field with a player down. Looks like a Cadet player.
That's a cramp.
TJ
I mean, that's
Summers,
just the way they're stretching them out. That looks like a cramp.
Don't forget about our friends at Mercy Healthcare. Kristen Jeans does a great job taking care of the CBC cadets from Mercy Healthcare, and Mercy can take care of you too. For more information, you can find Mercy Healthcare online. Great partner here for the CBC athletic department. 5:56 to go, 3rd quarter, 21-14 DeSmet. The Class 6 District 1 semifinal. One of the best rivalries here in the St. Louis area, DeSmet and CBC. The Cadets had won 10 straight before DeSmet beat CBC earlier this season. And this rematch means a lot. The winner moves on. The loser will wait for next season. Ball spotted at the 47 of the Cadets.
CBC's come out and played pretty well in the second half, just not been able to capitalize. See whether or not they got another defensive stand.
Wheeler sets up, and he's hit as he throws. Incomplete. Mike West with a big hit coming off the edge.
Now, why? And what I'm saying why is not, I mean, why are you throwing the ball? It's 1st and 10. You've been just destroying CBC on the run.
Maybe trying to maybe a little deception, trying to fool them a little bit.
You know, I was kind of saying, why isn't that part of your DNA, this, that, or the other? But they did something to telegraph that a little bit because Mike West was he lined up super wide, and he was on his horse full speed as he got through there.
2nd and 10 at the 47. Wheeler out of the gun. He's going to throw again. Here comes pressure.
Screen.
Middle screen to Butts. Butts turns it upfield. Inside the
trouble.
30. 25-20. Inside the 10. Taj Butts, a great play call there by Steeples. And that is a really good play call when you're bringing pressure.
Well, it not only is it a really good play call, but when your passing game has not been that good, and your running game has, and, CBC's really trying to get upfield on you because they've been just getting pushed around, it's just such a dangerous play. And I honestly, there's a couple of situations where I was surprised they didn't screen earlier in the first half. I didn't want to mention because I didn't want to give them the idea, not that they'd hear it, but I didn't want to give anybody the idea that that's what they should be doing.
This is an interesting formation out of a Wildcat. The quarterback is out of the game. Barfield takes a direct snap, and there's a penalty flag. They had 2 big linemen lined up just behind the regular offensive lineman.
False start.
And a false start called. So DeSmet trying to get tricky here, almost outmaneuvered themselves.
Was it them, or did we see, it was Winton Woods when we played them that did this with their big running back, where they kind of went into this little Wildcat look. You got to wonder whether or not DeSmet stole that watching some Winton Woods film.
You're going to do this again because Barfield's going to run behind those 2 big offensive linemen lined up sort of as fullbacks. And Barfield will go untouched into the end zone for a 15-yard touchdown run.
Ray Lingard had a shot at him and just couldn't quite get there. And DeSmet's feeling it here a little bit in the second half, and with about 5 minutes left to go in this third quarter.
So Luke Bauer will come out to attempt the extra point for the Spartans. Try to make it a 28-14 game. 4:59 to go, third quarter. Snap back, ball down. Kick is up, and it is good. DeSmet 28, CBC 14, 4:59 to go. And, Coach, the last 2 drives for CBC, the one at the end of the first half where they got to the 10 or 15-yard line, and they ended up back at the 40-yard line after a couple of miscues and penalties. The same thing happened on their first drive here in the second half. They did get close, made it 3rd and 4, but that offense needs the offense is going to have to get going.
They've got something to do. They've got to get some work done in order to make something happen for themselves. It's not an insurmountable lead, but since they took a 14-0 lead, this has very much been DeSmet's game with a couple of exceptions. CBC's just not been able to overcome their mistakes. By and large, CBC has played a much better game this game than they did the last one. But in that last one, we were 21-14 running late into the third quarter, and they really need to answer right here.
It's 28-14 DeSmet now with 4:59 to go in the third quarter. 28 straight points for the Spartans after the Cadets opened a 14-0 lead. Deep kick, and this will be Mayo at the 5. He's looking for blockers, cuts it up near side, looking to the sideline, turns it upfield at the 20, goes out of bounds at the 24.
Not a bad return in terms of setup there, but just needed one more block as he got around to the edge there.
This is a huge drive for the Cadets right here. Down 2 touchdowns, 4:53 to go third quarter, and before this game gets out of hand, they need to put points on the board.
Well, they do, and ironically enough, it was a pass that kind of right now is got CBC hemorrhaging a little bit more than we thought, albeit a screen pass.
So here we go, Cadets. Aiden Robinson, Wayne to Lingard. Lingard can't get past Wallace. Wallace has been very disruptive all night for the Spartans. No gain on the play. The running game just has not gotten untracked. The running backs, Lingard, Jordan Clay, McAlpine's been in for a couple plays. The running backs, the tailbacks, just not seeing a lot of space in the running game right now.
No, and the offensive line has just not been able to open up very many big holes for the running backs and for Aiden Robinson-Wayne.
Robinson-Wayne fakes, sets up, pumps. Now he's going to go far side, cuts it upfield, picked up a few. There was no one open over there, and so he tucked and
pumped,
ran.
Peeled out and ran, and that is kind of what Chaminade tried to do. They kind of set up to throw and moved Brady Cook around in the pocket a little bit, and when it wasn't there, they told him to take off. Or at least that's what he did.
Mm-hmm. He ran for 127 yards against DeSmet in their game. He also threw for 342. CBC player was down over there on the far side. I think it's Kenneth Hamilton, maybe. Can't tell from our vantage point. But the Cadets huddle up on that far side. It'll be 3rd and 5 for CBC at the 29. They haven't started the play clock, so
they can't do anything with the player on the field.
Yep.
So they're just in a holding pattern until they can get him off.
Trying to figure
safely.
out who that is over there.
Oh, it's a DeSmet player.
It's a DeSmet player.
Number 9.
Number 9 over there is Linnell Carr, the senior linebacker. He's limping off now for the Spartans, but he seems to be walking under his own power despite
a little bit of lean on the trainer or coach or whoever that is there.
He's holding his left hip.
I wonder if he got a quad.
Walking off very
or
awkwardly.
Hamstring maybe.
So 3rd and 5, big play here for the Cadets in this 3rd quarter. They have not gotten a first down in quite a while.
3rd down and 5 from the 29-yard line.
Since the last drive of the first half. Robinson-Wayne, he's going to run it.
Oh, he
Nothing
ran
there.
right into.
And he is thrown down. Nothing there. That DeSmet defense is fired up right now. That's Wingo and Wallace.
Man, that's a tough break for CBC right there.
Loss of 5 on the play.
They've not been able to do much with their offensive line against that front. Been able to protect Aiden a little bit in the passing game, but not enough.
It was Thomas Farrar who got that sack. Here's a line drive punt that will bounce before getting to Snyder. It will roll to the 40, and that's where DeSmet will take over. And
not a bad punt, but not a pretty one. Probably the least pretty of the punts from Charlton.
You could say ugly.
Yeah, it was a little ugly.
it caused.
It was effective.
It was effective, but it was ugly.
It was effective, non-returnable.
I feel like that's what my wife says about me, Coach.
Well,
effective but ugly. I don't know what I'm effective at, but 1st and 10 at the 40 for DeSmet. 3:23 to go, 3rd quarter. We're in the Tim Kylo broadcast booth. If you have any insurance needs, maybe you want to save a little money, have any questions about your insurance, want to make a change, call Tim Kylo, State Farm agent, 314-842-4442, or shoot him an email, tim@timkylo, that's KILO.com. And our Tim Kylo broadcast booth is very, very chilly. We are exposed outside in the elements. Don't say us broadcasters have cushy jobs, Coach.
Yeah.
Nice play on defense there. Tyler Dixon came up to finish it off.
They
And
ran
on the
a little-
stop there was number 72.
Little jet sweep motion there.
72, of course, is Sam Wiebert.
Gain of 4.
Snyder in the backfield now for DeSmet. 2nd and 6, 4-yard pickup on 1st down. Wheeler gives to Snyder, bounces it to the outside.
Get him down,
Good
get him
play
down.
by
There
number
we go.
3 in
TJ
there,
Summers.
TJ Summers, who's been very active, and it'll be a loss. So it'll be 3rd and about 7.
He's been very effective in filling in that outside linebacker role as CBC has kind of mixed it up, and we have not seen Calvin Carey in the second half. I hope he's not injured.
And that's a huge loss.
And he's been very, very effective inside linebacker for CBC most of the season.
3rd and 7. Ball spotted at the 43. Wheeler. Set and hands it. That's Taj Butts. Butts is stopped. A gain of 2. Good defensive stand by the CBC Cadets.
That defensive stand, forcing a punt here out of DeSmet, was so important for CBC after the way the previous drive kind of imploded on them.
Jeffrey Morgan will go deep for CBC inside his 20. Bauer will stand at his 31, and he'll punt it away for DeSmet. They tried a fake earlier in this game, and it did not work.
I think up 2 scores, I would be playing. Ooh, there should have been a penalty there. The right tackle.
Wobbly punt, bounces, and hits a DeSmet player at the 22. That's where CBC will start. It hit number 17, Gavin Baumstad, as he was in coverage downfield. He was streaking down on the near side.
So CBC will start at the 22-yard line, and this is we got about a minute left in the third quarter, a little bit over a minute left in the third quarter, and they need to kind of get things started here, and hope that they've got enough to make something happen into the fourth quarter. The defense has played much better the last 2 drives.
Jordan Clay back in the game at tailback, 1st and 10 at the 23. Ball spotted on the left hash. Robinson Wayne's going to throw. He's going to go deep. He's looking for Hamilton, and it's almost intercepted. Good coverage, number 6, Jacalen Johnson. And he had the size on Hamilton, got in front of him and knocked it down.
And I think if Aiden throws that a little bit more to the middle of the field, he might give Kenneth a chance to adjust on that ball, but he threw it right down the hash, and with where Johnson was playing Kenneth, it wasn't going to get anywhere.
2nd down, 10 at the 23. This offense has taken some shots down the field tonight.
They have, and they've had a little bit of success. I think they need to find a soft spot in the middle.
Empty backfield for Aiden Robinson Wayne. Takes the snap, sets up, looks, fires near side, and it's off the mark. Looking for Hamilton. He had to deliver it a little early. The pressure was on. And DeSmet's defensive line has been so good in this second half.
Alex Goulet having his hands full with Armand Wallace in there. And, he's having to keep him out of Aiden's face. So
Armand Wallace, Dakota Doyle Robinson, Makai Wingo. Linebacker Thomas Farrar has had a big night as well. They've put a lot of pressure on the CBC quarterback tonight. 3rd and 10. Bobbled snap. He gathers it, steps up. Now he's going to run. He's got a little room. Tries to bounce it outside. He tried to make too many moves at once.
Well, yeah, and in that situation, he's holding the ball out in front of him, and I just think that's throwing his balance off. I think he's still thinking throw, but as soon as you cross the line of scrimmage, it's done. He just needed to tuck it and run.
And
we got a penalty,
maybe. I'm trying to see where the flag is. And again, it's just hard to see the flags. Defensive holding. That's going to be a 1st down. A defensive hold on.
Well, if it's a downfield play. Now, interestingly enough, I was watching the Miami of Ohio versus Ohio game. Tyler Walton on University of Ohio. Got his first touchdown. Brett Gabbert playing for Miami of Ohio.
That's right.
There was a blitz play where they ran where the outside defensive tackle totally held the offensive tackle to set up a blitz coming off the edge. You can't do that. So I don't know if it was on the defensive line or whether or not it was downfield on what would have been a pass.
It gives CBC a 1st down, their first down in the last 2 drives. On the 33. This is Lingard trying to follow a block. Cuts it up over the outside. He's got room. Big gain, Ray Lingard.
There we go,
up to
Ray.
midfield.
There you go. That looked like it might have been the flow play where Aiden's got the option to give or pull and run, and it looks like they were more worried about Aiden than they were Ray. He gave that ball off, and big play for CBC.
Quickly to the line of scrimmage now for the Cadets. Robinson Wayne sets up. He's going to fire down the side. He's got Zach Hahn inside the 20, 10, 5. He's run out of bounds.
At about the 7. Like
Zach Hahn was streaking down the sideline wide open on that play.
CBC was down here at the end of the second quarter and couldn't punch it in. One of the key situations in this game. So this is a situation here for CBC where they've got to get a score here.
Yeah, that drive looms large. They were down here at the 15-yard line in the second quarter and ended up at the 40-yard line. Here's Lingard up the middle. He gets inside the 5 to the 2.
It's a nice physical run right there for CBC.
Robinson Wayne looked to the sideline and rotated his hand, trying to get the play in quickly. Wanted to get up to the line of scrimmage real quick before DeSmet could get set. Second and goal for the Cadets.
They got too many people on the field.
Lingard
You're going to
again,
get illegal
flag.
You're going to get illegal participation on DeSmet. They tried to rotate in late and didn't get it.
So too many players on the field likely will be the penalty, and they did mark it against DeSmet. So
they ran a guy on late, and then another guy was trying to streak off, and he just had no chance.
That should be half the distance. They were already at the 3. And there's a DeSmet player down as well at the 2-yard line. Lingard was down out around the 10. He had taken a knee.
Well, you know what? He hasn't come off the field much in the second half. He's had a couple of spells on offense, and after not playing as much at linebacker on the first half, he's been out there the whole time at middle linebacker in the second.
Second and goal. Ball spotted at the 2. Officials blow the whistle. We're ready to go. Robinson Wayne out of the gun. Takes a snap. And he is thrown down at the 5. That might have been Heidert. It was. Patrick Heidert had checked in for the first time in this game.
Yeah, and
he was tackled way back at the 5.
And that's one of the things that Patrick does is he runs that, he runs that play where he keeps it and runs with it, and he had no chance. I mean, he was stuck right off the get-go.
And that's the end of the third quarter. We'll start the fourth quarter with CBC. Third and goal at the DeSmet 5-yard line. It will be a huge play in this game with the Cadets trailing by 2 touchdowns.
Well, I got to believe no matter what the scenario is here for CBC, I don't think if they don't get in here on third down that they're going to go for a field goal. I got to believe they're going to go ahead and go for a touchdown. But even if CBC were to hold DeSmet out and get 2 touchdowns, and you're still staring on a tie game, so I guess points are points. It really is whether or not you think you've got 2 more shots at them in order to get yourself a win.
That's Coach Chris Maris. My name's Randy Molman. You're watching CBC football on the Cadet Student Network. The Class 6 District 1 semifinal game between these 2 rivals, the DeSmet Spartans and the CBC Cadets, MCC rivals. And it has been a very entertaining game, to say the least. CBC jumped on top in the first quarter, 14-0. It's been all DeSmet since, 28-14 the score, but the Cadets are knocking on the door as we start this fourth quarter. Ball spotted on the right hash. Lingard in the game with Robinson Wayne. Zach Hahn comes in motion across the formation. They're going to throw it. Robinson Wayne now is going to tuck it, looking for room. Cuts it inside the 5, and he's brought down there by Wingo.
No matter what, he's got to tuck that ball away better as soon as he starts running. He carries it out, and it's just such a dangerous set of circumstances.
And it's now 4th and goal at the 4, and this play will loom large. Robinson Wayne in the game, no tailbacks in the game. They're going to go empty set. 11:28 and counting, fourth quarter. The DeSmet fans on their feet. CBC, 4th and goal at the 4.
Coach Steeples was trying to get a timeout. He had to run out. The DeSmet fans were being so loud they couldn't hear him.
Steeples ran all the way out to the hash almost to get that timeout in. And so DeSmet wants to talk about it with 4th and goal at the 4 for CBC, trailing by 2 touchdowns. Really need this touchdown, Coach.
They do. They really need to get in the end zone here somehow, some way. I don't know exactly what they've got dialed up, but they need something to break their way.
Hard for everybody to tell on the screen, but it's cold.
I'm like bouncing. I got my hands in my pocket. I started out okay, and
I did too.
It's just I got a stocking cap on, gloves.
I'm dressed like the Michelin Man. I've got several layers on, couple pairs of socks, but the cold has gotten through.
Shout out to my neighbor, my classroom neighbor, Mr. Ott, who's texted me a few times. He's watching at home from the comfort of his living room.
Good for him. 4th and goal at the 4. Robinson Wayne, empty backfield, takes the snap, looks, fires, end zone, knocked away. Number 15 for DeSmet, Carter Edwards, got in the passing lane and batted it down.
And I think Chevy Brenson had good leverage on the top of the field on his guy. Aiden immediately looked right and never looked off, and a streaking defender across there knocked the ball away.
There's a gentleman walking on the track in front of us, Coach, in shorts.
Yes. He's hollering at somebody on the DeSmet sideline.
All right, so CBC's defense is going to have to get a stop now. DeSmet takes over at their own 4, up by 2 touchdowns. That's the second time CBC has gotten inside the 15-yard line and not come away with points in this game. And it looks like they're going to go direct snap to the tailback.
And that's the second time they've done that.
So they've tried to run that Wildcat they've run it several times. They scored a touchdown once, but they've gotten false start calls twice.
I think they're getting too cute here, to be honest with you. And I've been critical of them in terms of not having any sort of creative or representative passing game. You're deep in your own end zone, deep in your own zone here. This could create a break for themselves if they play this right.
Barfield cuts it upfield, gets close to the 10-yard line.
So he got about 4.
He gets to the 8, it looks like, just outside the 8. So it'll be second down and about 7. Picked up 5 on that carry. And they're leaving the quarterback on the sideline. They're just going to directly snap it to Barfield again. He's got the 2 big bodies leading the way, and he picks his way across the 10 to the 13,
close to a first down.
So it'll be 3rd and a long 2.
So early in the 4th quarter in the last game, they got the ball on the 1-yard line and drove 99 yards for the backbreaker. And it looks like they're going to try to do the same thing here.
I mean, they're so committed to the run right now that they have taken the quarterback out of the game. Barfield cuts it upfield. He'll have a first down across the 15, close to the 20. And on the stop was Lingard and Summers. Tyler Dixon also there. 1st and 10 at the 20. 7-yard pickup. And DeSmet's basically telling CBC, we're just going to run this ball until you can stop it.
This reminds me of Eureka football back in the early 2000s when Farrell Shelton, almost a double tight, full house, just pound it.
Under 10 to go. Here's Barfield over the right side, big hole. Across the 40 to the 41, run down from behind by Tyler Dixon, and a big gain there for Rico Barfield. So the Wildcat, or a variation of, is working now for the Spartans with 9:50 to go.
CBC's got to find an answer for this.
1st and 10 from the 42.
First down and 10 to DeSmet. Ball spotted at their own 42. They lead 28-14, and they're going to let this play clock run down. Barfield's not even set. He's standing there upright, very casually, just waiting for that play clock to get under 10. Direct snap. Cuts it back, and he runs over the initial hit. Jordan Marshall came up high, and that's not a good idea. Barfield ran him and carried him for about 8 yards.
And DeSmet exerting their will on CBC at this particular situation, and I'm just wondering if that last-ditch effort was just when CBC didn't get in the end zone there.
Still 9 minutes to go. Game far from over. The Cadets defense needs a stop. DeSmet started with it at their own 4. They're now out to the CBC 47. And they haven't had a quarterback in this entire series. Direct snap to the tailback.
Oh, they had him pinned deep.
How many spin moves is he going to get out of? He got spun out of several tackles, picked up about 6.
And they had a chance to get him in the backfield and couldn't bring him down.
Barfield now exits, and Taj Butts will come in. And they're going to keep running this same formation with Taj Butts now. Approaching 8 minutes, and they're going to let that play clock get under 10. And this is Butts. Stiff arms the first tackler.
And you're gonna have to go low on these guys. You're just not gonna be able to tackle them up high.
TJ Summers was in there first. Nate Kidd with the stop, and
there's a flag, so that's a break for CBC. Looks like they're going to be a holding the way that the FAR official walked this off.
So this will make it 2nd and about 14. It'll be 2nd and 15.
And they bring Wheeler back into the game here.
So on 2nd and 15, Wheeler back in.
They bring in the tight end, the freshman tight end Markaway.
The only thing that stopped DeSmet's running game there was DeSmet. Holding penalty pushed them back. 2nd and 15 at their own 48. Wheeler back in the game. Make that 3 wide receivers. 2 lined up near side. This is Butts, tackled from behind.
All right, TJ Summers, nice play off the edge right there by TJ, came down the line. They really need a stop here, force a punt, and see whether or not CBC can make something happen for themselves.
3rd and 13. CBC wants a crack at scoring and a chance to win. Wheeler kept it himself. He slid down shy of the first, well shy of the first.
Not a bad idea there, though.
And it'll be 4th down, and CBC calls a timeout. Keep that clock from running. So 4th down and 6, it looks like. The Cadets took a timeout here, preserve some clock. They have 2 remaining. Cadets will get the ball back with 7:01 to go and a sense of urgency.
Well, we'll be interested. I wonder if CBC's trying to set something up on special teams here, whether it be a return or a block, or just making sure they're squared away on what they want to do depending on how DeSmet lines up.
(28-14) the score, 7:01 to go, 4th quarter. The winner will get the winner of Francis Howell and Hazelwood Central next week.
And Francis Howell was up 14-0 at the half. I know 3rd quarter, Liberty North was up on Rockhurst 17-14. And that was expected to be a slugfest there between those 2 teams. Liberty North, I believe, undefeated on the west side of the state.
4th down, DeSmet's going for it.
They're going to go for it. Hey.
They're going to try to put this away. Barfield will take the direct snap. Comes near side. He's going to have a 1st down.
Gosh darn it. Boy, that's just too much to handle right there. Got it by about a yard.
Jordan Marshall with the tackle for the Cadets, but it's a first down DeSmet now as the clock runs under 7 minutes to go. 28-14 lead. And the DeSmet Spartans running game is just tough to handle.
And they are just content to milk the clock here.
Oh, yeah. They're waiting for that play clock to get down around 5 before they snap it. Barfield takes the snap, cuts it upfield. It's got a first down and more. And he gets out of bounds right around the 20-yard line.
There was something happened after the play. A flag came in. Number 9. All right, so DeSmet with the personal foul, so that's going to come back. And whether that'll be from the end of the run or from the line of scrimmage, I do not know. Because the play happened way back here. The penalty happened way back here. So I think that's going to be from the line of they're spotting it.
They're spotting it right at the original, maybe a yard.
Okay. Coach Bingle wants clarification on the spot. I'm guessing.
So it'll be, I don't even think the chain gang knows exactly where they're supposed to be.
No, they are. Everybody's a little confused. I don't know for sure, but I think their mechanics might be off on this because that play, that penalty was thrown way back here on a play that happened almost near the line of scrimmage. Why you would let the continuation of the play and mark it off from there, I don't know. I guess it was after the play is what they're calling.
High snap. Barfield tackled immediately. He did get about 2, but a good defensive stop there.
Starting to get a little chippy down there.
That's number 38 for the Cadets, Nate Kidd, in on the stop. And now Wheeler will come back in for 2nd and 8.
So their regular personnel will come in.
At the 35. They'll look to the sideline and act like it takes them forever to get the play in.
Well,
they're just going to run this clock down. We're under 6 now to go. 28-14 DeSmet. Wheeler takes the shotgun snap, sets up. Here comes the pressure. He's going to fire deep down the middle of the field, but nobody's home. Way overthrew the receiver. 3 CBC Cadets in coverage, but he outthrew everybody. And it'll be 3rd and 8.
Almost wonder if that wasn't to set up something else. Because I mean, he just heaved it out there, threw it out in front of everybody, and nobody really had a chance at that ball. Maybe one of the CBC players did, but.
He was looking for Jacalen Johnson over there, the junior wide receiver, also playing corner tonight. So with 5:39 to go, 3rd and 8 at the 35 for DeSmet. Here's the flea flicker.
Flea flicker.
He's going deep into the end zone for Johnson. Touchdown. Beat Blair Schonhorst deep down the middle of the field.
And I don't know that Schonhorst didn't give up on that. He didn't bite on the flea flicker, but Johnson just ran away from him. I think Schonhorst might have thought the ball was a little overthrown and kind of gave up on it. And Johnson just got on his horse and went and got it. Because Schonhorst was right with him for, most of the pattern, and then right at the end.
On to attempt the extra point is Bauer. Snap back ball down. Kick is up. And it is good. DeSmet now up 35-14 with 5:33 to play in this 4th quarter.
Definitely in the driver's seat here, and the DeSmet faithful is loud and proud here.
The Spartans lead by 3 touchdowns, 35 straight points. People always say when someone jumps out to an early lead and then they go 35 unanswered. And I don't understand that. I normally don't understand that because, we can answer for all of these 35 points. It's not unanswered. 35 straight points by the Spartans after CBC opened a 14-0 lead. Give credit to DeSmet and the coaching staff.
They've done a nice job
They've
tonight.
done a good job. They, you know, a lot of times you get out to a 14-0 deficit and you all of a sudden you panic and you try to do things that you wouldn't normally do. DeSmet stuck to their normal game plan, what they've done all season long, and they basically wore down CBC.
Well, they got that touchdown, I think, on their first possession of the second half to go up 28-14. And for a while there, CBC held their own, managed to move the ball, and once again, much the same as in the last game when CBC drove down and couldn't get it in the end zone to tie it up. CBC down on the 2-yard line, not being able to get it was a huge play.
And huge drives in this game where CBC's got inside the 15-yard line 2 different times and didn't put any points on the board. Bowers' kick sails into the end zone, and CBC will start at the 20. So in order for CBC to have any sort of chance, they need a quick touchdown here on this drive. 5:33 to go. The Spartans or the Cadets will play the winner of Francis Howell and Hazelwood Central, who are playing right now in the district championship game. Heidert now in the game for CBC. He checks in with 5:33 to go.
Gotta hope that Aiden didn't get injured, but after not seeing Patrick.
Heidert will set up the screen. Lingard up the sideline. He's got room across the 30. Stays on his feet and
Nice
barrels
play.
all the way to the 40-yard line. 20-yard gain. It's the first time they've ran that particular screen, and it worked. 20-yard pickup. They spotted at the 41, so a gain of 21. Heidert quickly to the line. CBC needs a quick touchdown if they want a chance to pull off the comeback. Lingard up the middle, and look at Heidert behind the play trying to help. Patrick Heidert followed Lingard up the middle there.
He did foul him up the middle. With as soft as DeSmet is playing on the outside, I wouldn't be surprised to see some receiver screens here.
Heidert's going to keep it himself now. Barrels up the middle. Inside the 45. Tackled close to the 40. Let's see where they spot it. I'm going to mark it at the 40. 4:49 to play.
And I think that DeSmet had some subs in there. I don't know. They're guys I've seen in there, but they ended up putting some other people back in.
That ball's batted down at the line of scrimmage. Didn't look like Heidert had a good grip on that ball.
Well, it looks like he's wearing gloves.
Yes, I saw that.
And I know that's something the quarterbacks do now. I remember that was always a no-no, but things change.
I can't even turn pieces of paper with gloves
No,
on.
I can't do much of anything with gloves on. I have a hard time doing it otherwise. So,
2nd and 10 at the 40. Cadets driving. Heidert fakes, and he's sacked. In the backfield once again is number 58. That's Makai Wingo, and that'll be his 2nd sack of the night, his 12th of the season.
Somebody might want to block that guy. He's pretty good. And
He's
now
been pretty good.
Is he sitting down now? Like he's hurt?
That can't be true. Now he's going to come off. He's limping slightly.
Well, and here's the thing. You're out there. You just made a nice play. And
You
then
celebrated.
You're
He also
celebrating,
celebrated.
showing your muscles off, and all these kids want to do those sorts of things. I get it. You're excited, but then all of a sudden you got to take a seat because you got a cramp or whatever.
Wingo has been a monster tonight, as has Armon Wallace, number 55. Big game for the Spartans. Heidert sets up, and here comes the pressure again. Down he goes, and Armon Wallace, the aforementioned, gets the sack.
So punting unit's going to come out there for CBC after some promise, and we saw this. We saw this last time we played them, and we've seen this off and on where CBC gets moving, and then all of a sudden they kind of fall apart. You know, CBC's a young team. They're still trying to figure everything out. They've had a very nice season this year, and I know this game's not over yet, but they've got a lot to build on as they played a ton of sophomores and juniors this year.
Charlton's punt, wobbly but effective. will bounce at the 20, take a CBC roll, and it'll stop at the 13-yard line. Down there by Zach Hahn. And so DeSmet will start at the 13, and looks like a couple of first downs, and this one might be over.
Yep.
35-14 the score. DeSmet leads. In case you're tuning in late to check out the score, CBC jumped out to a 14-0 lead in the first quarter. It's been all DeSmet since. 2 key drives in this game really was the turning point. CBC drove down the field at the end of the first half, got down to the 15-yard line. Between penalties and losses, negative plays, the Cadets ended up at the 40, didn't put any points on the board, and then they got to the 4-yard line earlier in this fourth quarter and could not put points on the board then either, and that's really the difference in this game, Coach.
Yes, it has been. It was, and, you know, CBC put up a valiant effort. Wasn't meant to be. DeSmet is a senior-laden, experienced team, and, you know, they've got a chip on their shoulder. I mean, losing 10 in a row to CBC by, what, an average score of 50-something to 6 or whatever obnoxious score it was. You know, there's a lot of baggage to deal with from there, and they definitely feel like they're getting it off their back with these 2 wins. But, you know, barring something miraculous from CBC, which I just don't see happening, DeSmet will move on probably to host Francis Howell next Friday. They were up 14-0. You know, the game that looms large for them is not only that game, because I think Francis Howell is a pretty darn good football team with only 1 loss to undefeated Fort Zumwalt North. The other game will be whoever they face from that Kansas City side, because I just don't think they're going to be able to line up and play slobber knock football to this effectively against one of those Kansas City teams. They're going to have to do something creative throwing the ball to keep them off balance.
To your point earlier, CBC has 2 sophomore quarterbacks.
Yep.
Jordan Clay comes back. He's a junior. Chevalier Brenson and Zach Hahn are juniors. The Cadets at their skill positions, very young this year, and relatively inexperienced. Zach Hahn had experience, but this was Chevalier Brenson's first year of football in how many years?
Yep.
So
I just know. I mean, you've got Kenneth Hamilton's a junior.
Yeah.
You know, Artie McAlpine's a junior. So and then you've got some talented. Well, you've got some talented freshmen that saw some time here this season that'll probably factor in after a year off season in the program.
Don't forget your sophomore corner, Blair Schoenfeld.
Sean Horst. You got Sean Horst, Morgan, T.J. Summers, who played a lot. Drawing a blank on the middle linebacker. Carey.
Yes.
You're going to have Honig will come back. Bell, Tyler Gant. I mean, these are all guys that are freshmen and sophomores and juniors that played huge roles in a team that's going to end up 8-3.
Penalty flag here with 1:53 to go. But the CBC Cadets will not defend their state title. Back-to-back, and we're looking for that three-peat. Won't happen this year.
No, but you know what? They've had one of the more incredible runs in, you know, state football history in recent years. I mean, going back to 2014, you know, winning state, going back in 2015, finishing second.
Good return there.
Jeffrey Morgan.
A nice return for the Cadets.
Semifinals in 2016. And that whole scenario fell apart with the injury to Cam Babb and Justin Williams. Were huge injuries late, you know, but you get to the semifinals there, and then you win back-to-back championships in 17 and 18. It's just not a run you're going to be able to sustain. It's just not realistic. And, you know, as it goes right now, CBC's back out on the field on offense. See if they can score one to make the score look a little more respectable, get a little bit more experience.
1:42 to go. The DeSmet Spartans are going to move on to the Class 6 District 1 semi. Heitert is intercepted. Ray Lingard was not looking back to the ball, and it was picked off there by number 3, Jordan Calvin, and that'll seal it.
That's pretty much the game right there. We'll see whether DeSmet's just going to kneel on it or whether they're going they're holding their arms up like might be victory formation for them. CBC does have one timeout, but I don't expect that Coach Pingle will burn it in this situation.
So for 2019, the changing of the guard officially successful for DeSmet. They take the MCC and they beat the CBC Cadets, who beat them 10 straight times before this year. And they beat them twice on their way to, for them, hopefully, a state championship. And by the way, best of luck to Coach Steeples and the DeSmet Spartans the rest of the way this year.
And the irony here, one of the mantras that we use on Twitter with the football program has been Purple Rain, and that's what DeSmet's playing at us is Prince's Purple Rain. But okay, so our reign is over. We're not going to win state, but 3 rings in 5 years is a pretty good run.
It is.
And believe me, all of this will fuel CBC's fire into next year. You better believe Coach Pingle will be talking about these 2 games and this whole scenario all off season, and I believe that the Cadets will come back and be ready to handle business and make these games much more competitive next season.
Victory formation for DeSmet. They'll just need to kneel down on it one more time. And the DeSmet Spartans will move on. They'll play the winner of Francis Howell or Hazelwood Central next week. And the CBC Cadets, for the first time in a long time,
yep,
their season ends in early November.
It's, it's been a tough situation, and I appreciate the fans over here going, thank you, seniors. Hey, folks, our athletic season for the fall is not over. We play Tuesday night at Kirkwood against Kirkwood in the sectional soccer game. If you don't got nothing better to do on a 27-degree night, get out there and cheer on the CBC soccer team as they'll face off in that particular game to try to keep their season going.
And you can watch it right here on the Cadet Student Network, and I'm sure Tom Eichwald and Randy Gardner will be bringing you all the action in that one. So Tuesday night in Kirkwood, CBC soccer sectional game versus the Kirkwood Pioneers. But tonight, in the Class 6 District 1 semifinal game, CBC just didn't have enough for the DeSmet Spartans, coach, and the Spartans are moving on, 35-14.
Yeah, it just was a little too much. CBC was a little banged up and a little undermanned in this particular situation, and looks like they're going to face off against Francis Howell, who is up 23 minutes ago. They were up 42-6, and that was with 4:11 to go in the game. So your 1 and your 2 seed will face off next week for the district championship between Francis Howell and DeSmet.
The Cadets finish 8-3 this year, and a good season. Not the season Coach Pinkel envisioned in terms of how early it ends, but a good season for this young team, a lot to build on for next year. And you can bet Coach Pinkel will have this team ready next year, Coach.
They will. He'll probably take a little bit of time off early next week, get his equipment collected, and then he'll start meeting with his coaches and players and get his off-season program rolling soon. I know there's a lot of freshmen that are chomping at the bit to get a part of this also.
And also I know from the Cadet Student Network and from CBC, good luck to the DeSmet Spartans the rest of the way as they take on Francis Howell next week. Hold on, I want to say thanks to a few people who helped on the broadcast tonight. Jack Hobart, Braden Paulus, Charles Bryan, Miles French on stats, and of course, producer extraordinaire, Randy Gardner. Randy will be with you again Tuesday, I'm sure, for soccer with Tom Eichwald, so pay attention. And
you're going to need another coat.
Yeah, It'll be just as cold, Randy.
Oh, it's going to be colder.
As the Cadets take on Kirkwood. Well, a great season, Coach. Man, it's been fun as usual. Calling games with you all year.
You know, and I have to say, this is the first game this year that you and I called together, and it's the first game in a while that you and I have called together that CBC hasn't won.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I know we did the pregame.
It's like we don't know what to say.
But this is a strange feeling to come off of that. You know, last year I called the game against St. John's. You know, I was calling with Tom Eichwald,
right.
and you know, I can't remember the last time you and I called one that we didn't come out on top. So I was hoping for some karma there coming in tonight. It wasn't meant to be, but I am proud of the effort that these guys put forward, and I think the coaches will be too.
That's Coach Chris Maris. My name's Randy Molman. I hope you've enjoyed the season and us bringing it to you right here on the Cadet Student Network. Our thanks to Tim Kylo and the Tim Kylo broadcast booth. And until Tuesday, when you can watch sectional soccer right here on the Cadet Student Network, so long, everybody.